This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the WAFL and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.
Welcome to Revo Fitness Stadium, the old Claremont Oval. The Tigers and the Sharks to do battle in round 2 of the Optus Women's WAFL season. Fantastic day for footy yet again here in Perth as we move into the second week of WAFLW fixtures. Both these teams coming off a loss in round 1. The Tigers couldn't quite keep pace with Swan Districts in a low-scoring game, and the Sharks had a tough battle against last year's premiers in Peel Thunder, and the reigning champs proved too strong. Here are the Sharks. They're out on the field. Cara Sprilin has led the team out today in her 150th game, and they're going through their warm-ups away to the left of our commentary position, and the Tigers are just about to make their way out onto the field as well. Fantastic day for footy, as we mentioned. Already a couple of games played in WAFLW this round. Swan Districts too good this morning for South Fremantle, winning 8-11 to 1 goal straight, and Peel Thunder made it 2 from 2 when they won the grand final replay last night against Subiaco, 10-10-70 to 4-2-26. This is the final game of round 2. Already racing through the WAFLW season. So much to talk about as we build up for this big clash between the Tigers and the Sharks. We'll take a break and be back and introduce the rest of the commentary team in just a moment.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au. Fantastic day here in Claremont. Revo Fitness Stadium is the venue, and the Tigers are getting ready to host the Sharks in round 2 of WAFLW. Fantastic day for footy. Temperature around about 30 degrees and not too much breeze about as well, as these two teams look for their first win of the season. The Sharks going through their motions at the moment, looking to rebound after a pretty convincing loss, it must be said, against Peel Thunder last week. And Claremont, well, they only managed to kick 1 goal against Swans. Swans only managed 2 themselves, but it was a slow start from the Tigers. You can see Jack Schwartz out there having a chat with Brooke Hongel before the start of this match as we introduce the rest of the commentary team. Clint Degebrot, great to have you with us again here this afternoon.
A terrific day too, 30 degrees instead of 38. I think that was the forecast earlier in the week, so wonderful looking over this ground today in terrific condition. as you'd expect in late February. Not too much traffic on it so far, but exciting game because this will really sort of start to tell the story about what will be the middle of the table will be in the next couple of weeks. I think if the Sharks can generate some ball movement off half back, it's going to be terrific. But Claremont love to set up the anchor deep too. To my right is Jessica Barker. She's on debut today. JB has done a lot. She's been actually probably personality of the WAFLW, and now the WAFL, and now the WAFLW. So Jess been around the Claremont Footy Club for a long time. Currently the wellness officer. She continues to recover from her concussion from 2020 season with the Curtin Wesley Tigers, where she is a premiership captain in 2018, was it?
19, I believe.
19, yeah. I've gone back 2 years.
Hope I've got that right.
You have. So welcome, Jess.
Thank you. Good to be here. Exciting to be on debut in the commentators box. Both teams, I believe, have AFLW players come back from the Eagles and Dockers. So it'll be exciting to see how those girls go and see the intensity lift, hopefully. You were mentioning on the lift on the way up that Brianna Green is going to take the field, and you were correct. She is out there. She is. What numbers is she wearing out there today?
Number 3, I think. Unless they've changed. A few of the East Fremantle jumpers are a bit different to what we were told during the week, which always makes it interesting. Let's check out the weather. Deggs has mentioned it's around about 30 degrees. Oh, not bad, Deggs. I know you're looking for a new job. Maybe that's the the next option, the meteorologist, the Bureau. 29 degrees. The breeze 16 kilometres from the northwest at the moment, thanks to front row screens.
If I was to collect another degree, it wouldn't be in meteorology, I don't think.
It is something, Jess, that we'll sort of watch with interest over these, particularly the early months of the season. The change to a summer start for the WAFL women's. You were involved down at Claremont. Has there been much work, preparation done to account for the fact that it's going to be a lot warmer, particularly in the first half of the season, than what the girls are used to?
Absolutely, yeah. We have been taking that in as a factor big time, sort of trying to train during the day a little bit in the pre-season and get the girls acclimatised to the heat a little bit. Something we watch on game day from our trainers and physios. They really want to keep an eye on that, try and get the girls to cool down during the breaks, not have them out there for too long before they have a break, and plenty of water, that sort of thing, hydrating leading up to the game. So the girls have been training a little bit in the heat, but no doubt it'll still be a shock for these first few weeks while it's still up around that mid to low 30s mark. So yeah, bit of acclimatisation, but I'm sure they'll be just fine.
Nice today. Very hot last week, Claremont, Swan Districts, and talking to Adam Dancy during the week, he said the GPS numbers are really good first quarter, really good second quarter, really high third quarter, and then both sides just really plateaued, or they didn't plateau, they plummeted in the last quarter, and that was probably a bit of an indicator of round one after a hot pre-season, which of course was thrust upon the clubs early, because when we closed the season last year, we didn't know we'd be away in February. That was a move from the Footy Commission to support our AFL footy clubs. I think it's a good move. It gives us 9 months of football instead of just 6, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we want more footy. That's sort of the gist of it, isn't it? And we get that this way, whether or not it's in winter or summer. We get to play more, we get to watch more, we get to be involved more. So I think the girls love being able to play a longer season, and yeah, they'll get used to the heat. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Jessica Lowe there, AFLW trainer with West Coast Eagles, just having a chat with a couple of teammates. Been an impressive improver, Jessie Lowe. I mean, very, very nice to watch her play footy alongside Brooke Hongler. If they get towards the half-back flanks each, it's going to be quite a spectacle.
We're talking about the heat. South Fremantle and Swans avoided the heat this morning, Deggs. They got underway at 9:30, so it's an interesting start time for a league match of football. But I guess in these sort of temperatures, it's not a bad move. And Swans certainly enjoyed it. Another win for them. They won 8-11 to 1 straight. And as the person in charge of female talent, you wouldn't be too upset reading through the names that kicked the goals. Dana East 2, Bella Edgley 2, 1 to Michaela Hyde, and 3 to Naira Anderson.
We don't get a lot of compliments at the State Academy, but Coach Adam Dancy said thanks for those 3. Directing a couple of players over to, or a couple of East Perth development players, and a young lady from Manjimup, whose father actually played 100 games for East Perth Heath East. So if he's terrific footballer, terrific family sort of lineage, but yeah, they were thankful that they were able to be directed towards the Swans in their league program.
And Jess, Peel Thunder, who are the reigning premiers, we saw them last week tear East Fremantle apart. Well, they've done the same job on Subiaco. It was a repeat of last year's grand final, but the margin was even more, 44 points, 10-10 to 4-2. And again, a lot of young names on the goal kickers list. 3 to Ella Roberts, 1 to Aisha Wright, Bailey Malloy kicked a goal, Greta McKinley kicked a goal, and the other one is Kate Bartlett with 4, and she kicked a bag last week as well. So Peel looking very dangerous at the start of the season.
They are, yeah. They've been looking good this last 12 months, haven't they? I know we're looking forward, Claremont looking forward to playing them. It'd be a bit of a challenge for us, but every week is. So looking forward to coming up against probably, I suppose, the strongest side by the looks of it so far this year.
Yeah, looking scary good in the first couple of rounds. The Tigers and the Sharks a couple of minutes away from bounce down. Degs, watching these two sides, we saw the Sharks at last week, as we mentioned, and Claremont only kicked one goal as well. It's probably the thing that's probably going to be hardest to find out there today is a match-winning score for the two teams. So we're expecting a close game, but let's hope these good conditions that we've got might just open the game up a bit, and we do see a few goals kicked at both ends.
Watching these two teams over the last couple of years, they generally score in one quarter. So lots of inside 50s, and East Fremantle will get 3. Next quarter, sort of lots of inside 50s, and Claremont will get a couple. They sort of tend to turn even at three-quarter time, and then it becomes a war of attrition in that last quarter. That's what we've seen in the past, however. But both teams like to generate a lot of run off half-back. They like to spread on the 45 by foot, and if either team can do that, both of these teams can actually go coast to coast. It'll just be a matter of finishing. So Sarah Lewis pretty dangerous at full forward for East Fremantle. She controls the box nicely. So some long ball in. She couldn't quite get the hand sticking last week. She had a crack at a couple. If she can sort of clamp onto a few there, it means East Fremantle can kick a score too. Depends on where Riley lines up, because she's good for a goal or two a week too if she's playing in the forward 50. Over at Claremont, rely on Brooke White a lot and Amy Franklin. So they like to, Brooke White likes to hit up at half forward, take a catch there, with Amy Franklin sort of either hitting up or stretching back. So she likes to go back towards the goal with the ball delivered in. Did that last week within the first 20 seconds of that game. So they can kick 6 or 7 each, these teams. It's just a matter of their efficiency in the front half of the box.
Just saw Ashley Gomes come back into the East Fremantle huddle. She'll be telling her side that they're kicking to the railway end, to the right of the screen in the first quarter, after Ella Smith, the skipper of Claremont, gave her a handshake and a hug in the middle and then won the toss. So Claremont winning the toss and probably kicking with the slight advantage of the breeze, although not too much to speak of today. Jess, Claremont, what sort of things are they focusing on in the early stages of this season? What can we expect to see from them in terms of their game strategy today, without giving too many secrets away, of course?
I'll try to be careful. So down at Claremont, yeah, they're wanting to start strong, obviously. First few games are pretty important. A bit of bad luck last week, unfortunately, going down to Swans. But they do take a lot of pride in their running and ball carry, moving the ball as quickly as they can and using that run-off half-back, as you said, Deggers, and feeding it into the likes of Amy Franklin, Brooke White, and I believe Em Lendrum has come up from reserves. She was a big player in the premiership last year in the reserves team. So few big names down there to feed the ball to. Hopefully they can get it down there and have a few big scores on the board early on.
I want to mention Brianna Green too. This is really exciting for football fans, I think, particularly fans of female football, to see Brianna Green playing WAFLW. She's had a really rough trot through her AFL time. And the idea today, just hope that the clubs loved her and surrounded her and said, just go out there and really enjoy the game of football, relax. It's not all about life and death out there. It's about just winning some one-on-ones, and it'd be nice to see Greenie have a run and a bounce today and just use her skills.
So the Tigers coming together now. Game pushed back by about 10 minutes, so that's why they've had quite a lengthy warm-up, these two sides out on the field. And a bit of water, not the worst plan in these sort of conditions, to just top up a little bit. There is a loose footy that's been left just inside the centre square, Degs. I hope someone spots that before we get things started here this afternoon.
It's quite an old footy too, so it's camouflaged with the green there. Brianna Green for East Fremantle and McMahon for Fremantle, and Alex Williams from Fremantle too, playing with the Sharks today. Sophie McDonald back from Eagles duties today. I imagine we'll see her trying to sweep and do a run and carry, some one-on-one work in the deep 50, and of course Lowe and Goranova both trained on with West Coast in the pre-season. So lots of fit players out there and lots of highly skilled players. Love the way they run. I think JB said it right. They love to create that run off half-back, so it could be a very entertaining game today if both teams stick to their game style.
Probably can't really ask Jess for a tip. I imagine she's probably contracted to say the Tigers will win. Who do you think will win, Degs?
What on influence can Green have? Radokovic is a very clever player. I think she's on debut today. They've got Rosie Walsh back. Brenna Green, as I said, is a big in. Lewis Clunker couple. Probably on paper Claremont, but I think if East Fremantle can get off the chain and use that, it gives them a chance to score heavily in this game. So I'm sort of leaning towards Claremont, but this East Fremantle team is very different to last week's team.
It's a very different looking Claremont Oval these days as well. You can see the apartments in the background. They've made their way around nearly 3/4 of this venue now. And there is another development still to come. The terraces away to the right of screen as well. So won't be too long before this field is entirely caged by these apartments as we get things started in the ruck for East Fremantle. The tap was one down by McClelland. Claremont get the first kick forward towards half forward. Playing in front, O'Donnell gives it off to Gomes, and the captain for East Fremantle sends them back towards halfway. Bad bounce for Claremont skipper there in Smith, but Lowe is there to win the football. Goranova has it now, tackled high. She'll get a free kick. Umpire was behind that play, but still spotted the errant arm going over the shoulder. Now the girl known as the Russian spears it in low, but the intercept mark taken by O'Donnell, who started well against Brooke White.
O'Donnell, pretty good last week, trying to connect with Miley Leach, the youngster on the wing. She goes past her, now down towards Williams, who's playing forward at her feet, Riley. Riley comes out with it now, looking to connect. Well, she's at half-back, of course. Her kick's been turned over in the corridor, and it's in the hands of Ella Smith. Smith trying to create, trying to find a husband, won't get there. McMahon chops that off, a little hand on it before it got to her too. Confronted by Payne, little flip out to Goranova was pretty clever. Didn't quite come off and trying to charge through, and eventually tackled really well was Canane. Ball spills free to Ross. Lively in the first half last week, Ross, known as Gaz for Gazelle, runs on her toes, got magnificent calves, so Ellie Lampkin says. Crashing in there's Ella Smith. She looks to create the first ball up of the game.
Ella Smith everywhere so far, Jess?
She is. She's hard to keep up with. She's a bit of a character on and off the field, I believe. So
yes.
Just gave the shove to Miley Leach on the way through. Welcome, youngster. Gets the kick away as well towards the boundary. It'll stay in. Her opposing captain gets there first. It's Gomes. Turns, spins and kicks low inside 50, and that's a good mark coming up from full forward from Raisin. Dad goes by the name of Toast Eggs.
Got that media during the week, didn't we?
We did. Pokes it into the pocket. Off hands. No rovers there for East Fremantle. McDonald on the way back out. Gets it away on the left boot. Clears Smith's head. Doesn't quite get her hand to it. So the lasso move from the boundary umpire means it'll be a free kick. And it'll come back in from the Sharks. Free kick here at half forward.
Zoe Gillard didn't quite get what she wanted out of that, although McMahon tried to keep it in. It just trickled over that line inside the arc. So a ball in, not a bad result. Gillard, change of number, change of position this year. Game poised, played close to the commentary box, which is really good. Quite often, or so often, we find the game on the far side of the ground. McLennan and Husband first hands to Payne. Would pick up Payne, can't quite get a clean handball away, though Lowe's good enough to trap it. She's in turn trapped. Little flip out was good from Weston. It's Husband again into the corridor. O'Donnell reads it best. How will it bounce? Terribly. Coming through on the charge now is Green, looking for her first possession back in WAFLW football. Of course, hasn't played WAFLW, and that's Elkington there from Claremont working really hard. In her second game of league footy, the youngster, part of the AFLW 17s program, and McMahon spreads the ball really well to Inglis Hodge. Fumbles, is good enough to recover. Gets it to Wong, why not? To McMahon and Leach. Leach's kick, she's actually a very good kick. She wouldn't be happy with that one. So for McDonald, picks up the fumble ball from Hongel. Handballs a little bit indiscriminately, chopped off by McMahon. Squirted out the kick towards the boundary line from McLennan. Kept in nicely. And then punted straight out of bounds, off the hand. Called for lasso rule rather than out of bounds on the full. So
interesting.
It was either touched or it wasn't.
I think the umpire, looks like Ryan Shelton down there, does a lot of work in the Waffle men's comp. Is overruled and decided it was out of bounds on the full. Miley Leach will have to go and fetch the football from the Claremont bench. I think we'll see a better kick from her this time. As Dex mentioned, normally uses the ball very well. Spins this one towards half forward. It clears the pack. Wong at the back, cleverly looking to slap it onto Lewis. In the end, gains possession and then hands it away to Lewis. Kicks into the corridor. McDonald in the way. Off to Hongel. Gets the clearing kick out of defence, but Inglis Hodge is well positioned. She takes the mark at half forward. Holds the ball above her head. Secret code of the Sharks. Kick towards the hot spot perhaps. To a pack of players. Off hands. Roving is Ross. She's got some space. Ball didn't sit for her initially, but she comes back onto it. Snaps and it's wide. First score of the game is a behind. First score to the Sharks. Jess Barker's with us. What have you noticed in the early stages here, Jess?
The girls are just starting to get their hands on the footy. You can see it's been on the ground quite a bit, but I think they'll sort of clean that up and start to play a little bit of cleaner footy, hopefully. A few big hits as well. The girls don't seem to hold back too much, do they?
No, all that with the restart. Payne hangs above the pack. I think it's Em Bennett claiming the mark, but Payne had a big bite of that. She's duped the umpire and she got a ball up. That's wonderful work, Em Bennett. Her sister, of course, Kat Bennett, both West Perth products, on loan over here at Claremont. Is in the league team today. Kat, that's her circling the footy. Now Em Bennett provides the tackle, trying to get a stoppage. It's brilliant. It's too quick though. She gets it towards the line, carries, one bounce and over the line, and a ball up. Ball brought 10 metres in, of course, and thrown into the corridor.
So right forward pocket for East Fremantle. They've done all the attacking. Claremont have struggled to get it past halfway in the first 5 or 6 minutes. At the throw-in, McClellan takes full possession, kicks to a dangerous position. Sharks have some numbers down there in Lewis, who traps the footy, wants some space now to create. Somehow fashions a kick on the left and she'll bounce it through. Clever work from the big key forward from the Sharks. She's got a lot of strapping on the left thigh, had a bit of an injury last week, but she's recovered enough to start this week in good form, and East Fremantle have the first goal of the game. They lead at 1-1 to no score. Here's Jess Barker.
Fair kick in.
Yeah, brilliant by the Sharks there. A little bit of magic on the right near the square there. Brilliant to see the girls in there. A bit more pressure from Claremont, hopefully, going into this next play.
Decision from McLennan to take that and get it to the hotspot was terrific. Just what the coaches ordered. We're actually sitting right alongside the East Fremantle box. They acted like that was a plan all along, so they didn't get too happy in there. So obviously part of it is a little set play inside 50. Amy Franklin in the ruck. She's going to oppose McLennan. Jumps across the circle nicely. Goran overruns onto it. She looks inside. Chopped off by Inglis Hodge, who's set up really well this season so far as I guess she's standing just behind the football. Dragged it in, says the umpire. And Ella Smith will receive the resultant free kick. Still fair play by Inglis Hodge. She looks to spread towards Elkington. Won't quite get to her. Kat Bennett causing some trouble. Elkington gets alive again here. Sprillian drives through, gets a little high one, and the umpire will rightly just stop play and allow her to take her kick. She's been lively already. Fit in 2021. It's a wonderful kick wide. Can it connect? Does. Stepping inside, very, very clever. Although the smother was equally clever, and it's Brooke White is going to get this to Elkington. Pull the ball back. Of course, that's actually Jacinta Valentini on the far side as we've got a holding the ball decision on the far wing.
Nice chase and tackle there from Zoe Gillard. As Deggs mentioned, usually used to line up deep in defence, but more up around the football so far here today. Coming up to meet the ball. Just being nudged off it was Radokovic, but got the kick inside 50. Hamilton Smith will collect for Claremont. Off to Dyke, providing some run out of defence. Kicks to space on the wing. Riley leads in the race. Coming across to meet her, Demanis, the ex-Shark, forces the ball loose with a good strong tackle. Now Fortescue sends Claremont towards half forward. Playing in front, but unable to bring the mark in was Lendrum. Close to the line, it'll go over. The umpire's signalling the lasso. Now he's signalling out of bounds on the full. Either way, it's going to be a Claremont free kick, and Garstone, another who normally does most of her work in defence, setting up forward, kicks to the pocket. Valentini down there, it clears her head. White was there. O'Donnell sprays the kick wide, will go out of bounds on the full. And Demanis will have the free kick pretty much where the 50-metre line meets the boundary. It's a little bit faded down in that pocket. So she wants some movement from the forwards. Claremont have kept it fairly open. Demanis with the left, lays it up towards the top of the goal square, but getting across and guiding it through from behind. The professional defender in Williams. First score for Claremont. They trail by a goal. We're around about the midway point of this first quarter.
Not a bad play to have on the last line, Alex Williams. Been doing that job for a long time. Well, their kick is not touched as it goes. It was touched as it goes to the line, so very clever from O'Donnell. Just to get a finger on that. Resulting ball in Claremont's forward 50. Williams would hold herself in higher esteem by foot. Very clever usually. So you're looking for a bit of a connection next exit. McLennan on the day so far in the ruck. It's early days, of course. Low. Right onto this. It's confronted beautifully. It spills out to Payne. Tumbles the ball towards a bit of chaos, and it just missed Sarah Garstone and scoots out of bounds in the forward pocket. Starting to see some repeat entries, Jess.
That's right. There's some clean work from Jess Lowe going on in there. I think that really helps out the Claremont girls to push it forwards into the forward 50 and give them those options when they need them.
So Franklin in the ruck here for Claremont, beaten by McClellan over the back. Wong gets the clearance, and it's a good kick. Got it over the top of the Claremont wall, but first back onto it is Hondrel again. Puts it into space in front of West, and she's got some speed, but this ball favours Green in the end, who will professionally take it towards the line and probably allows herself to be carried over. It's a strong tackle. Umpire comes in quickly and says we'll throw it in. Good to see Green getting her hands on the football early in this contest. Back into footy. Anne McMahon, another one, back into football last week. She's had a few early touches for East Fremantle as well. Tossed back in, no Claremont ruck there, so McClellan can take clean possession. She dropped that and then socket it. Kinane lays a hand pass off to the runner in Wong, who goes back to get it. Now Inglis Hodge chips it inside. Dangerous ball, attacking it hard. The Tigers through Payne. Breaks the tackle and then puts it out in front of Garstone. Got a couple of steps on Chloe Riley. Needs to be clean below the knees now. She is. Wants to give the hand pass off, just misses Demanis. Lets Riley back in for a second effort. Demanis comes across well and shuts that one down. Ball spills out. Demanis wins it. Off to Garstone. Long to the pocket. They need a mark deep in attack for the Tigers. Valentini can't bring it in. Gets the footy. Tackled well by Green. Great contest all over the ground there. Demanis against Riley was fantastic. And now Green holding up Valentini. That's what people come to watch at the footy, Jess.
That's right. Those sort of contests, those one-on-ones are huge, aren't they? Brianna Green's obviously a big contender given her professional aspirations at the moment.
Wonderful defence from Green too there. Valentini would have beaten a lot of players one-on-one. Ball tumbling around East Fremantle's forward 50. Chloe Riley gives it the heave-ho towards her husband. Over the back with Dokovic, makes a great contest and can't quite finish her good work. Back in the hands of her husband. Looking for another forward 50 entry. Versace. Walsh, first touch of the game. Good to see her in the lead football. All that will lead this race back. No, Matilda Dyke, as the ball gave a bit of a quick up. Elkington's wide for the switch, but I think Dyke will opt for down the line, although she gets a bit of side boot on it. It might turn out pretty well. They're coming the other way now is Gillard. Gillard trying to halt this foray. Versace throws the ball out to the advantage of Brilliant. McDonald paddles. Quick kick from low. White overruns. Front of the box. Garstone. Been busy up forward. Reggie said. Usually a defender off the ground. Clever from Gomes. She'll be looking for the line here. Will be a very smart option with those players around her. Although she does one step better than that. Oh, no, she doesn't. Sorry, she turned it over just underneath the commentary box, and it's Amy Fortescue from Queensland, JB tells us.
Yeah, that's right. She's come over from Coolangatta just this year. A very strong contender. We're excited to have her in the league team this year.
Looks like a Gold Coast surfie. Got the blonde locks and the tan. Kick towards full forward. Awkward bounce there for Riley. Gets out the back. Chance for the Tigers. Oh, the soccer kick. Valentini needed to pick it up. Riley played the role of the goalkeeper to block that one and then earns herself a free kick. More accustomed to playing up forward, but she has started well in defence here today. Has used the ball well and has held a nerve in the one-on-one contest as well. Do you want to switch this one by the looks of things? It's a dangerous looking kick. Clears the head of Demanis and it's worked out well. At the back is Gomes. Kicks down the line. Fortescue there again, reading it nicely. Too much pace for her opponent. Kicks long. Garstone from behind. Can't quite get there, but she does make a contest. Thought about the hand pass to Demanis. Instead, she swings around onto the right. Lays it up to the top of the goal square. Riley gave a good nudge. The umpire said that was okay. Otherwise, I reckon there was a big chance for Valentini to take that mark and have a shot. They'll clear through Noakes. Close to the boundary. Was there a touch on it from Bennett? No, which is good for the Tigers because it'll be a free kick. The umpire wants to come in, have a bit of a discussion with the boundary umpire, but I'm pretty sure this should be a free kick here to M. Bennett. Noakes is trying to claim it for her own here. It can't be her free kick. It's either a boundary throw in or a free kick to Bennett. Maybe Bennett gave it away, Dex, because she didn't go back to take the kick. She stood inside waiting for the throw in.
I actually think I've worked it out. I think the boundary's playing last touch, not last possession.
Right.
So I think it's because Valentini nicked it. It was an East round kick. Meanwhile, McMahon capitalised on the good work from that stoppage. Ortlep, seen this in the past. So that's a great tackle by Kakamo. Ortlep usually is able to spread runners by foot. Hacked out of the pack by Radokovic, only as far as Hongel. She's looking for Elkington. Fast young player, Claremont born and bred. Lots to like about this young lady, and she pulls the kick beautifully, having lowered her vision down and connected very well with Lundrum. Lundrum's too far out. There's no one on the mark, so she plays on. She strolls in. She gets good foot on it. It looks like it's slipping to the right of screen, and she scores it behind. So a couple of shots to the Tigers that haven't brought home the bacon.
Just they're owning field position at the moment. They desperately need a goal though.
That's right. They seem to be able to keep punting it back in there, don't they? But can't really get it through the two big ones, unfortunately.
Gomes receives the kick in, calling for players to lead to her. Everyone's leading away from her. Coming in the right direction there is Ross. She knew what needed to happen. Hitting up and taking the mark. She'll do the same to a teammate here, although the kick's not great. It's brilliant. Tries to make it okay. Takes on the tackler. Just got the hand pass away in time. Crashing through Western. Hand pass out in front of Elkington. A little paddle. Needs to pick it up now, although the Sharks have got across to shut that down. Through comes Payne. Claremont will pump it inside 50 once more to the top of the goal square, but getting back and taking the relieving mark. The Sharks, deep in defence, have done well. And it's a chance here to relieve through Williams. They're soaking it up at the moment. Short pass to the pocket. And a chance for Bolton now to clear for East Fremantle.
But you said Weston's quick. We just saw that twice.
Yeah, she's hard to catch. I wouldn't want to be running away from her, and I wouldn't want to be chasing her because I don't think I'd win either way.
Very busy so far, the captain Gomes for East Fremantle. She's putting pressure now on Emily Bennett. She seems to be the go-to on the wing. Western did play on, but the tackle was so good from Gillard. The umpire gave her the benefit of the doubt. She was definitely looking to show her pace again there.
I think it was a short 15, wasn't it? I think she knew it didn't travel the distance, but the umpire paid it.
I think she looked like she'd rather be running towards this goal too. The deliberate approach. Bit of a interesting ball drop. Garso tries to keep it in. That was good thinking. It crashes into the post. Full one behind. Western, exciting.
Yeah, really exciting. She's, as I said, hard to catch. She's still got a bit of work to do on her skills, as you can see. But yeah, really quick and very exciting to watch off the flanks.
Now you can see what I like about East Fremantle here today. That's gone out of bounds, but you can see their deliberate plan. They've identified the defensive targets. They've got a plan. This is a very difficult kick, of course, from here. So I don't think the East Fremantle commentary box will be too disappointed with some of these skill errors.
So Western from the same spot, just a bit further out. Spearing it in low this time. Chance for Lendrum. Quick hand pass to Valentini. Couldn't handle it. And the Sharks again under pressure in the back pocket, but Riley's done well there. Fashioned some sort of a kick across the body, and Wong was in good position to take the mark. Another short hit up lead. In fact, it clears Sprilling, but there's a backup behind in McClellan. And East Fremantle have got themselves inside a minute towards quarter time, having soaked up, I reckon, about 10 minutes of footy in Claremont's attacking 50. There'll be one more opportunity here for the Tigers, though. Amy Fortescue. In front of the little marquee that's positioned at East Fremantle's bench. She'll send it straight back to where it came from. Backing back and juggling the mark is Chloe Riley again. And Dex, she's done a fine job in defence in the first quarter.
Yeah, first quarter in the defence last week too, she was very good. These kicks are not quite as good. There's something wrong with that football, I think, because some kids that can kick the footy really, really well are having a little trouble with the ball. So maybe a bit of air in that at quarter time. This will almost signal the last little bit of this game, you'd think. Chance for Claremont to take away and kick. Structure in front of the ball's okay from Claremont. In the V, Husband takes that out of the ruck with attempts to take out of the ruck with Hoggle, and that'll be the siren. Really, what I liked, so I'll say that straight away before you wrap up, Reggie, is you can see what both teams are trying to do, and they're both trying to play a really good brand of footy. It's exciting.
Just the one goal in the first quarter. East Fremantle with a team that was successful in front of goal. They're 1-1-7 at quarter time. Claremont are 3 behinds. We'll take a break here from Revo Fitness Stadium. We'll be back to have a chat about the first quarter and a look at all the action in the second term in just a moment.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Inside the Claremont huddle with Wes Moran, one of the assistants here at the Tigers. Just having a chat with forwards for Claremont. Sarah Garstone in that group this year and presented very well as a key forward. But unfortunately for Claremont, that forward group, despite having the ball in their area for a long period in that first quarter, couldn't find the major opening. 3 behinds for Claremont. East Fremantle 1-1. They have the 4-point lead at quarter time down here at Revo Fitness Stadium. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jess Barker, your commentary team here this afternoon. And it's been an interesting start. Both sides would have liked to have hit the scoreboard a bit more often. But Jess, we've seen enough out there to suggest it should be a pretty entertaining game. What have you liked in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously pretty low scoring to start with, but I've liked the look of Chloe Riley and Ashley Gomes for East Fremantle. They've both had a few possessions each, very clean back there. And for Claremont, I would say Brooke Hongell and Andy Payne have been really good picking up and sending it back into the forward line for the Tigers.
Some of the highlights here on screen. The first goal of the match by Sarah Lewis. And really, Degs, I think the first 5 or 6 minutes, East Fremantle had it locked in their front half. And then from that moment on, it's been positioned to the left of screen. But Claremont just unable to really find a direct avenue towards goal. All of their scores have been rushed snaps and quick movement of the ball just into the pockets rather than finding a target directly in front.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I think what might happen here is as the players tire, some of these players might move as the game sort of opens up a little bit. There is a lot of room on the flanks, but I think you're right. The story of the quarter was East Fremantle in their half for the first part and Claremont in their half for the last. And I think we talked about that at the start, where these games have been really arm wrestles where a team goes live and can score, and then it swaps over to the other team who go live and can score. It's like half-court basketball, perhaps. Jack Schwartz there, leading his team, and now we're into the East Fremantle huddle. We're looking at Kate English-Hodge, who I've been really impressed with the last part of last season and this season, the way she sets up behind the footy and how clean she's been with her hands, and her decisions she's making by feet have turned her into a key player at East Fremantle. And I think Simon Quayle will be very happy with the way she started this season.
Jess, we probably expected the defences to be on top in this game. And if you look at East Fremantle, a couple of their AFL-listed players in Alex Williams and Brianna Green, they're pretty tough to break down in defence, and they've started pretty well. Yeah, absolutely. They're hard to beat, and you can see that they're sort of a step above the rest of them, aren't they? But they're under pressure, and they're performing really well, I think, sending it back out when they need to and cleaning up the mess when necessary. I want to get a look at that stats board. I have to see. So I'm trying to go and see if I can open up my screen a little bit like my iPhone. Simon Quayle looks to be happy, but also very directive. Looks to be reassuring the group. Group is tied around him too. Some of their key players yet haven't had a big influence, so expect the East Fremantle team to continue to improve throughout this game. I wonder what it would have been like for the new coach, Simon Quayle, taking over a very experienced group, which have now lost a little bit of experience as well, but running into Peel Thunder first up last week and getting a real taste of where they're positioned right at the moment. I know it's very, very early stages in the season, but you hope it doesn't doubt anything you've done in the pre-season, because they're a very good side, Peel, as they showed again last night as they dismantled Subiaco. But the Sharks have resettled and started pretty well today. I think the corresponding game in 2020, I think East Fremantle might have given Peel a fair whack at home, and I think it wasn't until later in the season, in the second return, that actually East Fremantle were defeated by Peel. So perhaps just a little bit of a Peel a slow starting club, or maybe it was a one-hit wonder, but certainly not the case with Peel in 2021. Second quarter, ball held aloft, and we'll get ourselves started here. Sharks by 4 points. Winners already this round, Swan Districts and Peel. This match, the final match of round 2. McMahon picks up the footy. She's immediately wrapped up by a couple of Tigers. We mentioned last week, so good to see her out on a footy field again after the horrific injuries she suffered in a incident in her workplace as a police officer, just as her AFLW career was about to take off. She'll keep plugging away. We noticed last week's dig, she's got the big anchor tattoo sort of signifying her commitment to Fremantle, just as they have committed to her as well. As that tap is one down towards Gillard, tries to work her way through traffic, gives it back to the ruck and McClellan. Sends the ball forward with a hurried kick. Ortlett off to McDonald. That's a clever little kick into space. Knows the pace of Payne, just needed to find a little bit of area for her to run onto the loose footy. She did everything right and then fumbled as she went to drop the footy on her boot. It's accidentally come off her toe, I think, but the umpire has decided it's a boundary throw in, so probably fair enough in the end. Payne was away to the races, but just probably running a little bit too fast to be able to settle and get the kick away.
Terrific smile on Ashley Gomes' face too, as she caused that with great running pressure, and a little wry smile from Payne as well. Throw in is deep, and back McLennan to no advantage. Going over, wrapped up in a tackle from McMahon. You're right about McMahon, but one of the best photos of a couple of years ago we saw was Anne McMahon in East Fremantle gear arresting a person who'd been in the change rooms doing the wrong thing, and it's one of the funnest things I've seen in footy, her and her partner.
It was on our live stream as well.
It's a great story which we should probably have told one day. And McMahon, just a terrific human being, lovely character. It's great to see her back out there because Goranova goes to crash in. Taking the ball off her is McMahon, wrapped up again in turn by Goranova. Left a couple of bodies on the ground behind the plate. It's just low. Kakamo's kick going forward. It's a nice build towards Lewis. She got some work though. She fumbles, unfortunately, couldn't give to a lane run runner. Following up nicely was Racing. She's got some support now through Lewis. Tackling. A big mob of players at the top of 50 in what was a promising build-up for East Fremantle just was snuffed out by a little fumble, Jess.
Yeah, that's right. Thought they had the runaway there, but was stopped by a wall of players.
McClellan again down towards Gillard, who slaps it forward. Hongirl was in the way. Gives off to Lowe, who a rare fumble, just looked up before she accepted the football. Pressure just being transferred from one player to the next at the moment with very small hand passes. Eventually Goranova gets her boot to ball. White nearly lost it over her shoulder, got it back. The tackle of Williams affected the kick, and then Williams comes back for a second effort. That was clever. Just squeezed it out wide towards Ross. Hands it off by hand to Green, who wants to come back into traffic. Not the best of options there. Demanis had the arms chopped. The umpire's onto that. So the free kick to the Tigers. If they go quick, there's a bit of space at half forward. It's a good kick to the advantage of Garstone. Just dropped the head, but she recovers well. Needs to get it on. Gomes blindsided her and caught her. Holding the ball. You could see what Garstone wanted to do. There's not enough voice, though, to tell her she needed to get it on quickly. And Gomes has been one of East Fremantle's best early, and that was great tackling from the skipper.
Just with Garstone just tipping towards that right foot, little hip shift and a tumble the ball, and would have been wonderful. Gomes, long ball in, through the hands of Smith, into the hands of Radokovic. Towards Lewis, gathers this time straight into a tackle. She'll do well just to hold this one up, I think. It's good work down there. Full forward and full back, playing a traditional style today. They're really going at it physically, and that's Fortescue, who's now got the job on Lewis, the dangerous Sarah Lewis. McLennan and Husband's worked their way back into this contest. It's down on the ground. A big tackle applied to Miley Leach. The outside mid turned into an inside mid for a moment, and she felt the heat of the inside. McLennan and Husband again, both trying to find the same target. Phillips Bill's free for Goranova, who takes on McMahon unwisely in the end because McMahon's caused the turnover. It's a terrific tackle. This will allow East Fremantle to go inside forward 50 with some kind of authority because McMahon's a good kick of the football. He's looking just to drop the ball over the back to space to Lewis. It's a good kick. She gets first bite on it again. You've got to run it this time in Leach. Can Leach slip through? No, she can't. She's tossed aside. It's now a chaos ball at the top of 50. The little step from Fortescue was terrific. She pulls around the corner looking for Husband. She brings Payne into the game instead, who has a little short tug from Inglis Hodge. It's a clever move from Inglis Hodge because she was starting to move away. Green reads this one the best as she runs off Garstone and pumps the ball back towards the top of 50. Shallow entry is not helping either side at the moment. On the ground here is Smith, and she's wrestled to the ground by Wong, trying to pretend to get that ball out, and neither player really want to do anything here but restart and get a breath.
They were after the stoppage there, weren't they? Great pressure from both East Fremantle and Claremont here.
Ball just being played between the two half-back lines at the moment. Chance here for East Fremantle. Good hand pass. Releases Sprillian, who wants to clear the pack. How will it bounce? Away to the right. Hongirl will just control this one to the safety of the boundary. And really, for the first time this quarter, they've got it in deep, East Fremantle. Both teams just struggling to break the lines at the moment, but that was nice play. Sprilling providing some good run from behind. And the Sharks perhaps a chance here for their second goal. Lewis and Fortescue will do the ruck work this time. Lewis had good position. Slaps at goalward. Crashing in is Ross. Ortlip stood up to it well, and they'll fight a draw. And we'll get another stoppage directly in front of the East Fremantle goal.
Well, both wingers standing their ground. Miley Leach earlier, outside midfielder, turned inside, stood her ground, and that was wonderful by Ross too. Well met by Ortlip, as you called. It's in Ortlip's hands now. She's looking for a release in Elkington. She's got her work cut out for her with Sprillian charging in. Sprillian does run this handball down. It's going deeper into 50. We're pretty wide here for East Fremantle. The ball is tumbled across the line, touched and over. And very shallow entries and a very wide entry then too, Jess.
Yeah, that's right. I think they'd be looking to get it in a bit deeper and sort of more central to the goals, didn't they, to give themselves those opportunities. But Claremont's definitely trying to push it out to the boundary at the moment.
McLennan, low in the ruck, she takes it and runs away from McLennan. It was a kick towards White, who just gives Alex Williams a good little bump to get her off the footy. Williams poses a problem now because she's tracking this ball really well. She's a defender, played this game for a long time. Kick from Sprilling over the shoulders, dropped by Lowe. Wong providing pressure now. One-on-one pressure across the ground is really good to watch. This is McLennan tapping the ground at ground level. McMahon towards full forward, taking the mark overhead, not paid. It's on the ground again, trying to move the ball forward now is Claremont. And numbers start to amass again at the top of 50. Who had their hands on that one, Reg?
I think it was Raisin. A good piece of it, but couldn't quite finish it off. Tossed in the air. Nice little block on a hand pass from Ortlip, who wins the football. Gives it back to Emily Bennett. Kick to centre half back. Demanis wrestling with O'Donnell. Again, support arrives. It comes out the back to McMahon. High up and under with the kick. Standing underneath at McClellan. Did well. Controlled the space and then held her ground nicely. She's danced away to the right. She's called to play on. Pokes a kick to the pocket. Big pack of players. Lewis came crashing through. Ortlip reading it best at the back. Feigned the hand pass inside and then composed. Little chip pass to Hamilton Smith, who goes long, quick towards White. She's a little unlucky there, White, because she turned and pretty much ran straight into Williams, but she did give front-on contact. So Williams, who had the better position for that kick, gets the free kick and just pokes a short ball over the top. Sharon White was influential early last week and faded like a lot of her teammates. Kicks towards full forward. Hamilton Smith with the spoil. Fortescue with the run of the football, tackled by Lewis, but stood up well. And pass towards Hongle and the boundary. Socket accidentally by Kakamo into the pocket. We see a boundary throw in beneath the apartments over there. Have you got one of those, Jess? Any one of those got your name on it?
Maybe one day, yeah. I'd love to live there.
How would you go with the sirens going all through the day and lights on during training?
Yeah, it's a fair bit. I think you'd have to have some sort of soundproofing in there.
No, just a deep love of football as we see Bennett charging out, but chopped off, all going through her hands. Something she's done so well, Inglis Hodge. All on the ground. Riley fumbled, going over now. She's got a bit of a carry. Searching. It's a 3-on-1 to Valentini, but she's good enough to get it back to Goranova. Brought down a tackle from Wong, and in McMahon's hand. Long, dangerous ball in, coming towards the ball was Raisin again in the hands of Hongel. Well smothered by Raisin. Pressure from Rodkovic. Into her back a little bit. Did enough to disguise it. Ortlip through Hongel and back towards a nest of East Fremantle players. That is a courageous mark from Anne McMahon. On the chest, going the wrong way. Having a bit of a breath perhaps, just to see if she can set something up. Give it a chance for the forwards to do their work. Called to play on now. She's gone for an inside-outside torpedo punt that's actually got the journey. Well, it's gone deep enough anyway. It's back in the hands of Raisin, young player, finding her way at the Sharks. We've got another stacks on the mill sort of quagmire situation where every time the ball hits the ground inside forward 50, it just becomes a massive big tackle fest. No run at the contest, no run at the loose ball.
Comes to ground. Raisin had it for a moment, lost it. The umpire will have to separate them once more. We've got one umpire that's letting play go for a long, long time. The other one with a quick whistle. This one allowed it to go and eventually it comes out. Emily Bennett does well to get a hand pass away, but Sprilling onto that with a flash. Now the banana kick into the pocket. Ongle standing in a good position again. Just worked off the football there. Lewis tackled. East Fremantle coaches in the box next to us wanted a high tackle, and the umpire in the centre of the ground spotted it. So this is a big opportunity here for Lewis. She's kicked the only goal of the game, and from a tight angle in the left forward pocket, can have a shot here. So Sarah Lewis kicked the goal at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. We're at the 11-minute mark just about of the second. Obviously no stand on the man on the mark rule here because the player on the mark's dancing all over the place. As Lewis comes in, the left footer sets it out to the left and doesn't bring it back. First score of the quarter. It's taken 11 minutes. It's a behind to the Sharks. They stretch their lead to 5 points. They're still finding it pretty hard to find a goal here, Jess.
Yeah, that's right. It seems to be a couple of points, not too many scores at all really, but it seems to be hanging around one end or the other, and East Fremantle have dominated that for sure this quarter.
Kick in, carried well from Ortlet. It's back in the hands of Inglis Hodge to Wong. Neat little kick towards dangerous space, though filling that space is Hamilton Smith. There's a couple other Claremont. She can't pick it up though. Radovkovic has a crack. Sophie McDonald dives on the boot. Start getting some movement in the stoppage. It's Rayson can't quite get her kick away. Trying to run through there was Versace. McLennan tackled by husband straight away. Wong pushed to the deck by Lowe. You see this stoppage here, there's no one on the move. We're just standing around this footy at the moment, not generating any pace or interest, and the umpire wasn't happy with the lack of intent from anyone to move that ball forward, and it's in the hands of Ella Smith holding the ball against Versace. He was probably doing exactly what her forwards coach asked her to do.
It's often the way, isn't it? Won't get any criticism from the coaching box this time. The kick on the way back out has been intercepted by Noakes. So as we've seen throughout this game, it just ends up being a 70-metre game of football where it goes from one line to the next. Unable to break through. Smith now kicks to Demanis, clears her head close to the boundary. O'Donnell watching closely. Hand pass from Demanis into Payne. Inglis Hodge stands up in the tackle until Garstone comes in to finish it off. And we'll see another ball up. Both of these teams found it really hard to score goals last year. If you take out the South Fremantle games, they were the team that most clubs managed to score big scores against. Claremont averaged only 4 goals a game, and East Fremantle even less. They were down just above 3 goals a game. So the early signs from these two clubs this year, Degs, is that not much has changed at the moment, which is, I'm sure, a little bit of a frustration for both coaches as this ball gets back towards the wing. Coming through and sending the kick forward for the Tigers was Kat Bennett. And now they have broken the line. Garstone at half forward. Toe pokes it forward. Franklin runs away from the football, which allows Garstone to keep going. Another soccer kick. Lendrum comes in to lend support. Hand pass just misses Garstone, and now Claremont are retreating. They do get boot to ball. Franklin was onto it quickly, and she takes the mark. Well done, Amy Franklin. She knew the moment that ball hit Garstone's boot, it was going to drop in short, and now she centres it. That's clever. And good football from the youngster, Amy Franklin. She's alert. And now Jacinta Valentini will have a shot. Jess, we're going to test you out here. Are you backing her in? What's her goal kicking like?
Yeah, I'd back her in. I think generally she's a mid, but she's been playing in the forward line a little bit. Or particularly, yeah, obviously with this game, she's in the forward line.
Oh, you're a pretty good judge. You're a very good judge. You've done well. She survived the commentator's curse. And Claremont are in front. 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Tigers 1-3, East Fremantle 1-2. Dex, just run Jess through the pressure of the commentator's curse we saw last year with a couple of Fremantle players who were up in the box with us, who landed massive curses on the players out there. They're mates. But Jess is too strong. She's got a good one.
So it was Cara Donlan or Cara Antonio, my apologies, sitting in the box and saying, put your house on this with Hayley Miller. Hayley Miller failing to make really good contact. So you've survived one. I haven't got one right yet.
Maybe I'm the lucky charm.
I haven't got one right yet, but a terrific player, coast to coast. And of course, as you call, Reg, Amy Franklin stretching back allowed her to lead back up to the space, and that's not always the case inside WAFLW. A lot of times we bring numbers to the football and surround it. Restart, bullseyes. It's Husband getting Claremont going forward, though Wong's recovery was very good, beating her to the footy. Back to Inglis Hodge from McLennan, and Gomes receiving again, pumping the team forward. Kath Bennett comes out. Sorry, that's actually Rachel Ortlet comes out and takes a neat mark on the chest. Carried away nicely by M. Bennett to Garstone, featured in the last goal. A lot of hard work. Jim-Manis, very quick play. Should be able to turn Riley here. Riley very clever though, sheepdogs her to the boundary line. forces her to turn and kick to space. And the space is filled with East Fremantle players. Claremont players have now arrived. This umpire, as you said, wants the ball to come out, wants to give everyone a chance. And he's going to call holding the ball here on Emily Bennett, who actually tried to pick up, Valentini, who tried to pick up the ball and run out. It's called for holding the footy. Should have been 50 metres too. She had the footy, put it on the deck. It's Ali Noakes, the youngster, 16 years of age. Debut last week. Kicks the ball well, as you can see. Sophie McDonald did enough on Versace. Spills to Gillard, who's looking for some don't argues. Doesn't quite get one, and the umpire couldn't wait to do his famous signal of holding the ball, trying to play on, and given permission to play on was Jimanis. Alex Williams has got the front position against Franklin, and she's able to clear the ball, maybe momentarily, because that speedster in Weston's leading Leach to the footy. She picks it up. Leach clever, wraps her up in a tackle. Weston manages to get a kick forward. Looks like Kat Bennett now and Franklin. Trying to get the ball over was Kat Bennett to Franklin. Ricochets off an East Fremantle hand. Now it falls with Kinane. Tries to connect with Kakamo. Lots of pressure from Rachel Ortlep. She's actually playing 3-on-1 out there. Eventually, numbers win with Leach. Leach kicks the ball towards the back of the box here. It's all East Fremantle. The Goranova flashed in, picks up the ball clean below the knees, and with the left foot connects or tries to connect with Bennett and or Hongel. They spoil each other, and this will be a chance to take a breath. Sophie McDonald.
Set herself up pretty well behind the ball so far today, McDonald. Uses the left and kicks it out wide. Hits the target nicely. Kat Bennett, who's had a busy second term. Long gets it over the back. Green getting back just makes the spoil on Elkington. O'Donnell there to support. Quick kick forward, and McClellan takes a good mark.
She's been good.
She came in the preliminary final last year for her first game. East Fremantle already have a pretty good stack of talls, but she's become their number one ruck very quickly. Here's one of those talls now. Rosie Walsh puts it out in front, and it's a foot race to the pocket. Ball bounces closer to the boundary. That might end the race. Although, yep, it's just trickled over now in front of Emily Bennett. Otherwise, we were going to see about a 60-metre sprint from about 8 players, which could have been fascinating stuff with 45 seconds to go before the half-time siren. It's East Fremantle who have that last opportunity to score before the break. They've led for the majority of the game until Valentini's goal just a couple of minutes ago put the Tigers in front. Hongel, as always, doing a nice job in defence. Short pass to Weston. She's got one over the top out wide that she ignored. That was Elkington. Decides now to kick it in her direction when there's a couple of Sharks around. Need to go quicker earlier, although Elkington's come in here with a very good tackle, and it might be Claremont, although only 10 seconds or thereabouts to go before half time, so it might be too much for the Tigers to transfer this ball that quickly. Elkington will go short, uses it well, and Kat Bennett has it, and there is the siren to end the first half of football. The Sharks kicked a goal in the first quarter. The Tigers kick one in the second, and we're pretty much where we were at the start of the game. It's a 1-point lead to Claremont, 1-3-9 playing 1-2. Valentini the goal for the Tigers, Lewis the goal for East Fremantle. And as the temperature remains around about 30 degrees, I reckon that's going to take its toll in the second half. Hopefully we'll see some nice open free-flowing players. A bit of fatigue sets in, but these two sides will regather themselves now as they head to the rooms. With the Tigers up by a point at half-time in WAFLW round 2. It's Claremont 1-3 leading East Fremantle 1-2 half-time on the live stream, thanks to Front Row Screens.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
There is Jess Barker's apartment, I think, Dex, just way to the right there. Got a few nice ornaments out there on the balcony and a good spot to be watching football from. It's been a good day of footy out here. There's a dog as well. That might be her dog, is it?
Sure, yep, that's mine.
That's Scruffy.
Yeah.
It's 1-3 to 1-2 at half-time. The Tigers lead it by 1 point. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jess Barker, your commentators.
I've just been trying to figure out which way the wind's going, if it's having any influence or if there's wind out there. But I'm looking for the windsock. There's no such thing. I can't see any trees. And none of those apartments or buildings are swaying in any way. So I can't. I'm just trying to think of why the ball's moving the way it is. But I can't find it. I know the old people in the Waffle don't like it when there's not a windsock here. So I imagine Darcy Coffey, the president here at Claremont, the CEO here at Claremont, will get a lot of complaints about there's no windsock. How do we know what the wind's doing?
Jess Barker knows what's been going on out there so far today. We've only seen the 2 goals, Jess. It's been a lot of what we're seeing here on the highlights. One-on-one scraps on the ground. Sometimes the umpires are blowing it up quickly. Sometimes they're letting it go. It's almost the old school footy training where the coach just throws it between 2 players and away you go.
That's right. It's a hard scrap to win the ball, isn't it? But it's really good to see the girls out there hitting hard and fighting for the footy. See Claremont kick their goal there off a nice connection from, I think it was Ortlup, M. Bennett, Sarah Garstone, around the wing and up into the forward line. So that's really good to see.
That's that connection you were describing early, working that ball off half back.
That's right, yeah. The run and carry that they've got and some really, really good skills shown there.
Sarah Garstone as a forward as well, Jess. We've seen most of her work as a defender in her career. Do you think that this is the way it's going to go for Sarah as her career continues?
It looks that way, yeah. Definitely used to seeing her as a defender, and she's a quality defender at that. She's always in with the spoil and cleaning up everyone else's mess, but she seems to be doing really well, so maybe that's where we'll see her from now on up in the forward line.
It's good to see Jacinta Valentini, obviously not a terrific finish. She's doing some bullocking work. Some struggles with concussion towards the end of last year and actually couldn't get back, and she couldn't take her place as an AFLW train-on because of the symptoms which carried on for 3 or 4 months. So it's wonderful to see her back out there and playing footy.
Definitely is. There's a few good stories out there. Another good story is with the WA Female State Academy. So thanks to Kia, let's have a look at the work that academy is doing. Looking at the coach, Bo McDonald, who's been conducting to strengthen the talent pathway for female football in WA.
Saturday and the boys went down to Bassendean Oval and we watched Swan Districts. My uncle's a Gary Sidebottom. He played over 100 games at Swan Districts. My pop Wally Sidebottom played state football and also for Swan Districts. I didn't play football till year 12 at the Upper Swan Junior Footy Club. I went down there in year 12 and played in the under 18s, and I found myself at Swan Districts Colts the next year, and then the year after that I was lucky enough to make it to the Brisbane Lions. In 2001, I think to be part of history was fantastic. I really remember getting a handball out to Bossy when he's kicked that goal from the boundary line, and I remember pushing over the contest. I think John Barnes was my opponent. When I seen Bossy flash past, I remember giving him the handball and sort of folding in behind him, and I was directly behind him, and he's kicked the ball and it's just gone through, and I remember running back to the centre thinking, this isn't over. This is such a good football team we're playing against. There was no room to relax until that siren went.
And they've beaten the chance.
When I retired in 2008, I spent some time at the Brisbane Lions, assistant coaching role, worked behind the scenes in some welfare roles and some ruck coaching. I was there for 3 years, but then I moved to the Pilbara. I worked with young Indigenous males up there, trying to get them to go to school and helping them out with their lives. And then I got the opportunity to coach the Northwest Academy through the West Australian Football Commission, and I started to really enjoy coaching that young group, and I felt like I have a responsibility to give kids the opportunity that I had. I enjoyed my time coaching in the country, but getting back into high performance was what I really wanted to do, and the opportunity was there in female football. And I moved down to Perth to be involved in the female talent pathway, to coach under 18 state girls.
Bo's application really stood out to us because of his experience in the coaching world. So it wasn't so much that he played AFL, in fact that's limited to it. It's his ability to connect one-on-one with people. He knew what it took to play and coach at the highest level. He'd worked at community level in Aboriginal and community engagement, so we knew he was the right package to move a group of people from where they were to where they needed to be.
The girls are, they're a joy to coach. We're really just there to give them the best opportunity, that if you get that call up to the AFLW, you can do your best when you get there.
He understands that each player needs to make their own progressions. So what drives him forward is driving a player forward. His ability to move a player with their understandings through the developmental stages and pathways would be his best attribute. We're really lucky to have support of fantastic sponsors like Kia because they allow us to drive the game forward. Bo's been able to really drive female football, and our staff love driving the Kia cars. We've got staff that have since bought their own Kia cars as well, which is terrific. To have Kia as a sponsor to allow us to cart our people, our equipment, and to basically power and drive what we're doing inside female football is terrific.
We're trying to drive a culture here within our academy group. We also want to produce WAFLW players and good community members and people that go back and give in some way to the community. And let the girls know that you know, whether they go on in their football or they go into a workplace, all these things that we're trying to instill in our culture here, they're transferable to the next place that you go, and it's just all part of being a good person.
Bo McDonald there with the State Academy. We're here at Revo Fitness Stadium, otherwise known as Claremont Oval. As we scan around the ground, there's a few spectators here. A lot going on in Perth in the sporting world today, so not as many as we normally get at a WAFLW game, but there are some young girls out there who are enjoying themselves and having a kick with the pink footies as well, which is always good to see. And I'm sure she's a Tigers fan down there. She'd be pretty happy. A team lead by a point at half-time. There's a young fella there as well, practicing his skills, so always good to see a few people out there.
Got some bling
on the ground, hasn't he? So he's set and ready to go.
Is that still a thing? You're young enough, JB. Is that still a thing?
Bling? That is a thing, yes. I believe. A bit jealous of all his bling, actually. Looks pretty good.
And he's well set up.
Strikes the ball okay by foot too.
Wants the footy back as well to have another kick. So it is half-time. We'll take a break here on the front row screens as the umpires are making their way back out onto Claremont Oval. A big second half still to come. Claremont lead East Fremantle by 1 point. Plenty more to come.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Just about ready to go in the second half. Well, the umpires are ready. The players, we haven't seen them just yet. There's time ticking down on the scoreboard.
Possibly heat policy, bonus 5 minutes. The umpires haven't been
Could
told.
be they weren't given the heat policy. They've got to tough it out. There they are. The umpires out there in the middle having a good chat and just wondering where the players might be at the moment. Claremont 1-3, lead East Fremantle 1-2. We're at half-time. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degebrot and Jess Barker, your commentary team this afternoon. Some earlier games in WAFLW. Earlier today, in fact, Swans beat South Fremantle 8-11 to 1 straight, and Peel beat Subiaco last night 10-10
to 4-2. Deggers, earlier in the week, the State 19s had their jumper presentation. They're in preparation at the moment for the carnival, which looks a little bit different this year with COVID sort of hanging over it as well. But it's a trip coming up to Adelaide and also the Gold Coast over the next month or two. Everything travelling nicely in the preparation?
Yeah, a bit of AFLW experience for the 19s team, because they'll be in and out of Adelaide, in on the 27th, playing the game on the 28th and flying out. So that's a little bit of elite experience for them in terms of being able to prepare themselves to play, then get on a plane. And of course, a couple of weeks later, they turn around and land in the Gold Coast. They play against Vic Metro on Monday, the 12th, and then they play against Vic Country on Thursday, the 15th. So they fly out after that and return after medical clearances the week after WAFLW full time. So it's going to be terrific for them to come out and play with a state footy, but then also have a really bulk of a season to get their teeth into to finish. So as you can see, a lot of these players on the ground here are in that squad and team, and you'll see Chloe Riley take the field in the front half for that side, and I think this is fantastic preparation for her.
Getting a good lesson at both ends of the field. Some of the highlights from the first half here. As we said, the Tigers leading it by 1 point at half time. Great tackle there from Ash Gomes, the East Fremantle skipper, who's done a pretty good job again for East Fremantle today. Jess Barker is with us as our expert today. Jess, as a footy fan, what are you looking to see in the second half from these two teams? What are you hoping that they bring to the table here as we get ready to start the third quarter?
I'm excited to see some more running off that back flank, up along the wing and towards goals. It'd be brilliant to see a bigger score, obviously. We're 1 goal each way at the moment, so it'd be great to see them really get some score on the board and a bit of running the legs out off the flank there.
Yeah, I think we'd all like to see a bit of that. And as I mentioned earlier, that these two teams have found it really hard to score over the last year or so, although last year had a lot of wet weather games in the WAFLW. We shouldn't see as much of that this year with the season being set up in the front half of the year. Much warmer and drier conditions, certainly for the early stages of the season, as Claremont are making their way back out onto the ground. Some of the footage from our cameraman down ground side, fantastic there. The captain just trailing them out. Ella Smith, who had a good first 10 minutes or so. I don't think we've seen as much of her since then as we did in the opening minutes. East Fremantle in a huddle away to the left of our commentary position already.
I'm just trying to think back to AFLW 18's days for Ella Smith. I think she liked to be the last player out. I think that was one of her traditions. So
well, it's hard when you're the captain.
I wonder if she leads the team out at the start. I'll have to have a look next time we watch Claremont play. I wonder if she leads the team out at the start and then goes out last the next couple of times. That's very interesting.
I have noticed, Jess, that a lot of captains, in footy there's always a lot of copying. Whoever's doing the best, everyone gets copied, and Trent Cotchin loves that run out and then turn around and stand and give the little low fives. And I know Cara Antonio does that at Fremantle now as well. So maybe that's Ella's job.
Maybe that's it. Obviously, Richmond have been pretty dominant recently, so I think everyone wants to do as they do. So, yeah, Koch is a big personality that people want to be like, so maybe that's the theory behind it.
Wonderful hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost Lego hair, isn't it, Trent?
I could use that.
I had a haircut yesterday and noticed just how thin my hair's getting as well, which is always a bit scary when you're forced to sit in front of a mirror for about 15 minutes.
Not just one mirror either. I'm sure everybody experiences the old hairdresser mirrors. They certainly make you look older and uglier than you really are. And when you don't start with a whole lot, it gets even worse. So we're just about underway.
Well, it's always the good thing about doing this live stream is there is a little camera in here, but we don't go to air, which is very, very handy. Although I probably shouldn't say that because Matt down the box probably has control over that camera, and yes, I can hear an evil laugh through our cans at the moment. So
watch how fast I pushed back in this chair if that camera comes on.
Here we go.
Straight up Jess Barker's nose too.
Start of the third quarter. Claremont kicked the goal in the second term. Rosie Walsh in the ruck. Good to see her having an opportunity. She's beaten at this contest, though, by her husband, and the umpire's going to pay a free kick. They've done this all day. Whenever someone's lying on the bottom of the pack and not getting the ball out, there's a whistle and a free kick. So Smith gives this one away to McMahon. And Anne McMahon, heavy strapping on the right knee, recovered from some horrendous injuries to get back out on the footy field. This kick has gone beyond half forward. Rosie Walsh at the back, beaten to it now by M. Bennett. Wants to shrug the tackle, pops a hand pass inside the husband, who drops the footy in the tackle. Nice tackle there from Larissa Versace. I know that Peel put a lot of time and effort into quietening her down last week. She's been quiet so far today as well. Wong extracts the footy. Great pick up by Raisin. Wants to get the hand pass away. Probably needed to do it the first time. By the time the hand pass did come out, it was all Claremont. And the navy blue take it away. Jess Lowe with a hand pass. Gets past Gomes, and Weston wants to put the wheels to use. Good speed. Kicks the torpedo on the run as well. Gets it over White's head and it'll skip away. And unfortunately, that will be a free kick for the last possession rule. But she is exciting, Jess. Every time she gets the footy, I think everyone in the ground wants to see her put the foot down.
That's right. Maybe she needs to learn how to bounce. I think that would have helped her there a little bit.
Untidy kick from O'Donnell's cleaned up well by Green, who gives it back to O'Donnell, looking for Walsh. Usually pretty good overhead, Walsh. Versace, left footer, should be chopped off by Ortlep, and is. Chance for Claremont to build. She'll drop it across to Ella Smith. Busy again early in this quarter. A couple of tackles for, a couple of tackles against. Tumbles the ball towards Husband, puts one hand up, nearly does enough. It's on the ground now for Weston. She's not running because she's been tackled by Versace. Pretty clever by Versace. No one wants to be chasing Weston at this stage, and Brooke White is able to wrap O'Donnell up and get it all up. Just in front of the East Fremantle bench, Husband does some good body work. Taps too fierce for Smith. Gomes takes it off Smith's hands and straight into a low tackle, and we'll do it again.
Pretty happy to be held up there, I think, Gomes. She knew if the ball popped out, there was a few more Tigers jumpers around than Sharks. Husband and Walsh go at it, up towards the boundary. McMahon spins and just carries the ball over, so a throw in from our boundary umpire.
Brianna Green's gone onto the ball.
We saw this last week, didn't we? Ishamana made a lot of changes at halftime. Admittedly, they were a fair distance down at halftime.
Sprinter looks like she's gone to half back.
With Gillard's into defence on Franklin as well. Through comes Smith, didn't take the ball with it. Green does. Hand pass to the feet of Walsh. Now Weston's hurried kick will be taken by O'Donnell. He wants to move it on quickly, doesn't direct the kick particularly well, and Weston gets involved yet again. Won't be able to run from this position, so we'll test out her kicking skills. Jess Lowe gives a little lead. Weston kicks the torpedo towards half forward. Comes off hands and gets over the back. Noakes is first there. Hand passes it away. A little kick from Sprillian. Made it tough for Green, who's shoved out the way by Goranova. She runs straight into a tackle and she's dumped heavily. Umpire will penalise her holding the ball. And Noakes will get the free kick at half back for East Fremantle.
Goranova's really pushing to try and break the game open as much as she possibly can, but just can't quite get away with things at the moment. As you see Ellie Noakes, who's a very good kicker of the football, just got this on the side and out of bounds. So Ella Smith, yeah, like what Goranova's doing, if she gets through, she's going to be very creative. She's going to break this game open. Ella Smith pulls this hard and to the left, and we're out of bounds. I imagine that's not where Coach Jack Schwartz would be wanting the forward 50 entries.
I can imagine not. More central would be ideal, I believe.
Versace, favoured by a very good kick from O'Donnell, under pressure from Weston. Versace drives down the line, looking for Walsh. Picked up by Fortescue. By-hander Husband, wonderful smother by Green, falls in the hands of Walsh. Pulls this ball around the corner looking for Rayson. She's got Matilda Dyke. Good tackle. She dispossesses Dyke. And Radokovic goes off the ground. Ortlab having to put in some really big ones to get there first, because Radokovic is fast, although she allowed herself to be blocked off by Bennett. Ball with Fortescue. Nice defensive transition from Claremont. O'Donnell has the box seat and takes a very good mark. Weston says she touched it, but the umpires will play that over the back every day. Short kick in. Doesn't quite find Inglis Hodge. She's got to get it back. O'Donnell has a little think. Inglis Hodge again, waxing on the wing. They do enough to get the ball to half forward. Dyke's in the box seat and is able to take the safety on the chest at half back for Claremont.
So again, the two half back lines on top, as we've seen throughout this game. Dyke kicks straight down the same line again. Mark not taken by Husband. Ball comes out the back. Wong will get there first. Smith crashes into her. Umpire said it was okay. Loose footy. Kat Bennett wants to take it away. Nothing forward. Goes backwards to assist her. Emily Bennett's high kick will land in the lap of Noakes, who wants to take them on. Here's the break of the line. Kicks towards half forward. It's a 2-on-1 here for East Fremantle, but Ortlip comes across well. Makes the spoil, follows up. Can't quite get to Kakamo, but the work that Ortlip did has allowed her teammate Elkington to come in and apply the tackle. Rachel Ortlip has saved the day, and Elkington gets the free kick holding the ball. The kick hangs in the breeze a little bit there. Not a great kick, but Goranova's good enough to get a hand pass away. Payne's kick's untidy. Noakes again off half back. Ran into a teammate. Time to recover though. Quick kick. Wong coming through. Beats Goran over to the football this time, gives it back to Noakes. Torpedo off a step, might work out okay. Although in comes Dyke, she knocks it away. Ross will arrive, swooping on the football. Good hand pass to Radogovic, sidesteps Dyke and then kicks into space. This one bounces away towards the pocket. Leading in the way though, a chance for Claremont to mop up. Amy Fortescue first to get there, and she's got some time and space to set something up.
Lovely little block from Bennett to Emily Bennett. This ball's kicked towards the 50-metre line again. It's Payne, very busy in the first quarter, dynamic running. She looks to connect with Weston, can't quite complete the tackle, brings Noakes into the game again. She's been good. She's had a good couple of minutes. Noakes manages to drag that in and under, but it spills out and gets to Wong. She's sacked by Hamilton Smith, and Goranova's trying again to break the line, this time a little over the shoulder. I like what she's trying to do. At the moment, she can't quite finish what she's doing. This is a nice kick forward for Claremont towards and through the hands of Franklin. Good kick from Goranova. Box seat for Bolton. Hasn't had too much work to do so far, Kimberly Bolton. A terrific intercept mark. Back towards Payne and Hongel. Payne with a block and Hongel with a run. Going to get back to Bolton again. This time she fumbles the ball towards Valentini, who's very quick, but she kicks around the corner and it's mopped up beautifully by Chloe Riley, who goes this way and then that. Makes a terrific decision to hit some space on the far side, which is filled with East Fremantle Sharks.
And it's Green away with a bounce. A second bounce now. Haven't seen too many running bounces today. Comes inside to Noakes. Then her kick from a standing start favours Dyke, who... in fact, McDonald this time, who drops the mark, but time to recover. Hand pass went searching for Lendrum, couldn't get it to her. Inglis Hodges hand pass intercepted by Emily Bennett. Then she follows up and makes a high tackle on East Fremantle's Larissa Versace. Chance for the Sharks to set something up. The kick goes searching for Ross. She's got a couple to beat. Angel brings it to ground. Ortlup now tracking Ross closely. Good tackle. Pinned the arm, but Ross was clever enough just to get boot to ball. Inglis Hodge comes in to help out, and they should be able to hold things up for a ball up right in the middle of the ground. But really liked Jess Barker, the work of Rachel Ortlup in the first 8 minutes, and probably for the whole game, to be honest. She's been very, very clever in defence.
She's an absolute workhorse, isn't she? Just keeps fighting for as long as she needs to, really. It's a very high-paced game, and with the low score, there's not much rest for the girls out there. So to see someone like Ortlup keep working like that is incredible.
A couple of different positions where she's been outnumbered and come out with the goods. Down from the Claremont ruckman into the hands of the Sharks. Versace pulls this around the quarter to favour Sprillen. Coming at the footy was Kinnear. Can't finish her work. Numbers around the ball again. Versace decides just to rip this footy out and get it going forward. Radokovic and McDonald. Bit of respect for Radokovic there, having McDonald stand her. McDonald swung in a tackle. Has a good look around. On her second swing, she finds the free play at the top of the square. Top of the stoppage. She gets it towards Franklin. Payne to Franklin. Trying to construct something here in the middle of the ground. Handball misses Kat Bennett, but she's able to follow up. Long ball in. It's 1 versus 3. It's Garstone, and there's 3 Sharks surrounding her. Any sort of kick forward here is going to help the Tigers, and she does that really well now. The ball's in a dangerous position for Claremont now. East Fremantle are going to have to rally. The ball's in the hands of Germanis. She pulls the ball around the corner. Can't quite finish. The lead is 2 points. Germanis' left footer doesn't go through the centre.
Exciting build-up there, Jess, from the Tigers.
It was, yeah. Dumanis actually told me earlier she's ambidextrous, so she favours herself on both feet, which adds to her brilliant skills. She's very quick and also has that to add to her quiver.
Here comes the footy through Bolton, formerly Bowie. Now husband for Claremont. Into a good position if it sits, and it doesn't. It's set up nicely instead for Wong. Her hand pass inside. Canane, short kick, too short. Dyke standing in front of Walsh. Takes the mark. We saw Canane do a great job in defence in the second half last week. Very close checking against Ella Roberts. She's played up forward so far today. Emily Bennett now has Canane for company and does well just to spill it out. Payne was there. A little soccer kick from Wong has gone out of bounds without anyone else touching the footy. So it should be a free kick to Claremont, although M. Bennett wants to give it back to Versace. This should not be an East Fremantle free kick, but it's going to be. Now that definitely came off the boot of East Fremantle, and Versace's used her experience here to talk the umpires into it, Dex.
And Bennett walked away again. I'll be grabbing that one and tucking it under my arm. Versace kicks the ball pretty well. It's going to carry the pack and go to Dyke at the back. Will they change directions? Dyke's been making better decisions by foot. Decides to go down the line again, looking for Elkington. Does pretty well there to get it off hands and out of bounds. Wanted to pull the trigger inside, I think, Dyke, but just didn't trust herself to hit Ortlop in the corridor. Been some shenanigans on the boundary through this game. Nobody knows whose free kick it is. Husband at the front, she's tackled immediately by McLennan. Like her, Husband runs over Inglis Hodge as a attempt to get it out. Spills to Gomes. I think it was given to Gomes. Gomes coughs that up towards Smith from Claremont. Smith hits Brooke White in the corridor. Some would say fortunate, we'll say intentional up here in the commentary box, and White just assesses what's in front of her. In fact, she's giving a chance for her teammates to drop back behind get in front of the football. Sorry, Garstone walks us up to the front but then drops it. O'Donnell, neat handball early, was good enough to avoid being tackled by Garstone. Smith drives down the line. I think she's got that out of bounds just... No, she hasn't. She's got that out of bounds in front of the arc. So it's going to be an East Fremantle kick taken by Bolton Bowie at halfback for Claremont. Halfback for East Fremantle, actually.
Just the one behind in this quarter. We've got about 6 minutes of play left. The straight 18-minute quarters in WAFL Women's. This girl's had a good third quarter, Larissa Versace. Pretty quiet in the first half, but definitely getting involved now. Good contest there. Fortescue did enough to get it out of the hands of Razor. Now Jess Lowe pokes the kick forward. Overrunning it there was Bolton at the back. Goranova setting a world record for being tackled today, I reckon, Goranova. And this time she's penalised because once she was tackled, by judging that she didn't really make enough attempt to get it out. She's been happy to take the game on. I'm sure she's being encouraged to do that by her coaching staff. This kick goes back to the congestion on the wing. And they have looked after us today, Dex. They've played up and down this members' wing virtually all day long, which has made it easy for us to see the footy, but it hasn't made it easy to see free-flowing footy.
They're definitely attacking this side of the ground. Claremont's every single entry's on this far left-hand side going towards the Claremont end. Is that an instruction from Claremont? Is that something you've been working on?
Honestly, not sure. Not something that I'm aware of. It does look that way, though, doesn't it? That it's staying at this side.
Are the lights better on this side at training?
Oh yeah,
is that
maybe
why
that's
it is?
Yeah.
They're just comfortable up and down this wing.
To this, yeah.
It's definitely they're definitely not looking into that corridor. I just wonder if that's an instruction or just something the girls are, I guess, just under feeling the pressure and not making those good decisions. Ball bouncing around in the centre of the ground. Meanwhile, tackled off the football and making everything of it was Ella Smith. She's trying to get the game to go on.
It's a blood rule on Honda.
There's a bit of blood on the knee, is it? Umpire fast on that. Interesting little COVID observations at the breaks. The girls put their ice towels on their heads and they throw it on the trainer's head. Dan walks off the ground with 6 used ice towels on his head, and I wonder how that would go with Mark McGowan. He might shut down the Claremont quarter. Brooke White meanwhile tumbles this ball towards McLennan. She just gets it on the boot as quick as she can. Falls to Ella Smith, who's now completing some of the good work she's done earlier. Rayson stands over her. Smith's going to look this side of the ground again. Might find Jimenez, although she's in a pack. It's a good catch. Leaps up and takes that in front of Noakes, with Sprillian putting pressure on the front. She continues to bias this side of the ground, and she's turned it over to Williams. And will Williams go into the corridor or work a switch? Bolton available, Versace short. Bolton is sort of indicating she wouldn't mind it over that way, but not demanding it anyway. What can Noakes do here? Jimenez, a neat catch over the back. Looked to be Noakes' footy, but Jimenez just took a couple of steps and jumped over. And now she's going to kick the ball out of bounds on the full on this side of the ground. You wouldn't believe it.
To be honest, I'm just looking forward there, Jess. There's not enough movement from the Claremont forwards, is there?
No, that's right. I'm sure they're tired at this point, but that's exactly what they need to get it down there and get that score on the board. So we need to see a little bit more movement from those girls.
Jess, if you have a look at the game, we've got every single person sitting under the commentary box here in the whole field.
Perfect for us.
Somehow Wong in the middle of all that pack. The smallest player out there takes the mark. Now she wants to bring it into the corridor. This is a dangerous position. Ortlop's onto it quickly, and that's a good hand pass. Gets good distance on it. Sets up Valentini. Spears it in low. Goranova on the half volley takes it. Wants to wrestle away from Bowie. Bolton gets the free kick, and again Goranova penalised for holding the ball. She's just a moment away from setting Claremont free there. But Bolton was too strong. Kicks to the wing. Ortlop makes the spoil once more. And the clever toe poke. Goranova will collect. This time dishes off the hand pass. Bit of speed coming here from the Tigers. It's Weston. She's run a long way. She's run too far. What a shame. That was exciting footy. And she's nearly kicked the goal as well. But she did run a long, long way. Probably doesn't need to take too many steps, Jess, to run too far, because those strides are a good 2 or 3 metres each.
That's right, yeah, less steps than the rest of us to make up those metres. But she's very quick, so we'll have to teach her to bounce, I think.
Yes. Absolutely, because she could have probably had 4 more there.
Yeah.
And kicked the goal from the kick-off line. No one was catching her. Ortlep, clever handball after absorbing the pressure from East Fremantle. Ball in now with Sue Bolton. At least we're on the other side of the ground. We're trying to attack the forward 50 for the Tigers, this time from the far side, not through the corridor, and it might be because that's where East Fremantle is setting up. And as I look across the ground, I think that East Fremantle's ground coverage in forward 50 is very good. McMahon through her hands. Ball in the centre of the ground now. In the corridor, a little kick off the ground from Hodge. Low, clean below the knees to White. Gets it back to Payne. And she shifts her hips to try and get a bit of corridor kick on that right. Doesn't really connect, and a lot of players again standing around this footy. The umpire do. Throw it up again. As soon as we get into those situations where there's a second wrestle and it stops, every player just seems to go, it's really hot.
I'm tired. I'm hot. I'd rather be at the beach, and we'll have a ball up. So in at the ruck, McClellan's back on the ball for East Fremantle. So Amy Franklin's getting a crack in there as well. We've got a minute to go in the quarter. We haven't seen a goal. Don't think Claremont kicked a goal after halftime last week either. The Sharks certainly struggled to score throughout their game. Kat Bennett gets the kick inside 50. Weston stretching, can't take it. Garstone at the back. Needed to be clean. Her tackle's good though. Wraps up Bolton, and they'll get a stoppage in the forward pocket inside the last minute.
Bolton look for a fend off there?
Possibly. Umpire pretty happy to ball it up. So Claremont with the last opportunity to score. It would really hurt East Fremantle if they did right now. Goranova, quick kick. Garstone overruns it. Becomes the tackler. Hangs on a long time in the tackle. Still a chance for Goranova. She's got it. With 20 seconds to go in the quarter, the girl who's been caught holding the ball for 8 or 9 times today has kicked what, who knows, could be a match-winning goal here, Jess. It's going to be 3/4 time siren before we get this ball back to the middle of the ground, but the Tigers lead it by 8 points.
It could be a match-winning goal. Goranova's tried to break through a number of times today and finally got that goal. Not through breaking a tackle, but simply by kicking it through the goals.
So it took a long, long time, but we've finally got a goal in this third quarter, and that really hurts East Fremantle. They did a good job holding up. They had their opportunities early in the first half of that quarter, but it's the Tigers that have managed to score right on the 3/4 time siren. They lead it 2-4 to 1-2 at 3/4 time goals to Valentini and Goranova. For Claremont, Lewis kicked the goal for East Fremantle, and I reckon, Diggs, I can see Sarah Lewis wandering out to the...
Fully changed.
Yeah, she's in the civvies, so her day looks as though it's done, second week in a row, and they're one short on the bench, which is a shame for East Fremantle. Going to make it tough for them to come back in this final quarter, which is all coming up on the front row screens, live stream of this match after this break. Claremont by 8 points.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Set for a big last quarter here at Claremont Oval. As Wes Moran's having a chat to his forwards, and they've done the job there in that third quarter, getting a goal right on the siren through Sasha Goranova. And the Tigers lead it by 8 points at three-quarter time. 2-4 playing 1-2. Dave Lindsay, Clint Degerott and Jess Barker in commentary here this afternoon. And Jess, again, that third quarter, probably following the same pattern as the first two. East Fremantle had field position for the first half of the quarter, couldn't do anything with it. Claremont then dominated field position for the second half of the quarter, and it took a long, long time as it did in the second, but a late goal for the Tigers, and they've got a nice little buffer.
That's it. As Deggers said earlier, it's a bit of an arm wrestle. It's sort of at one end or the other. It doesn't spend too much time in the middle, does it? And finally, Claremont got the breakthrough. So from my position, I'm hoping Claremont can keep doing that, but sure the Sharks will keep fighting and try to do the same.
Watching the highlights here from the third quarter, and Deggs, it really was stuck up and down this members side wing for most of the term. Neither team really prepared to take much of a risk to get the ball into the corridor or to the open side, but eventually the Tigers broke through.
I'll probably mention Rachel Ortlep. I reckon she continued to try and spread. She tried to open the ball up into space with hands. She tried to punt the ball forward to advantage a teammate. I think she really caused those last couple of forward thrusts with her intercept marking, her one-on-one defence, and then obviously her just desire to bias teammates with her possessions, and in a couple of cases non-possessions, just paddling toward the teammate.
She saved the day a couple of times in defence as well. There was a couple of times there she was well and truly outnumbered. I think it was 1-on-3 at one stage, and she managed to hold the ball up long enough for some support to arrive, and they won themselves a free kick.
That's the kick there just off the ground that just got to Goranova as they had to release the big fast run of Western, which was eventually not allowed. But that was a great example of what we're talking about with Ortlep there, just getting it to the path of teammates. And a pretty impressive player. I've liked her and her sister. I like watching them play. They're very smart. They're thinking footballs. And they're wonderful to watch behind the ball.
And we saw the dash there of the youngster in Michaela Weston, Jess. Every time she's gone near the football, we've got excited. You gave us the tip before the game that she's got a bit of speed, and she hasn't let us down.
She does, absolutely. This is her league debut, so it's really exciting to see her out there. She's got some serious pace. Obviously needs a little bit of work on those skills, but yeah, once she's got it and she's got a bit of grass to run on, you won't catch her.
You do say that, but she struck that ball very well as she crossed the 50 at full pace. Yeah. As you said, a bounce, and she's kicking that from 30 metres out directly in front.
The East Fremantle huddle just as they're about to break and head back out there, but looking at the Claremont structure to start this last quarter, Deggs, we've got one wing, Weston, who's just dancing at the moment as she's trying to converse with her skipper, Ella Smith, in the middle. So she's having fun. And on the far wing is Elkington. So you can see the strategy here for Claremont. They're going to try to burn them off on the wings.
And half-back. So you've got Bennett at half-back, who's obviously trying to provide a bit of drive by foot. Where does Valentini land? I think she's vital for this last quarter for the Tigers. The way she's entered forward 50, she's actually a little deeper. So she's playing at 35 forward. So I'd like to see her come up the ground because forward 50 entries have got such penetration.
Demarnis is the other one, isn't it? She's got some speed. Chloe Riley's come across to stand next to her, so she's at half forward and Riley at half back. So interesting battle there as the umpire's scanning the field, just checking to see that everything's ready to go. I think we might be. Claremont leading it by 8 points. 18 minutes of footy to go.
Ross has gone forward here for the Sharks.
And no Sarah Lewis in the second half for East Fremantle. Second week in a row that she's failed to finish the game due to injury. McClellan starting in the ruck. And she gets the first kick. Bounces past Ortlep. Good gather from Sprillian. Gets it back to her captain Gomes, who's dispossessed, and there'll be a free kick holding the ball. Weston made the tackle and then wanted to dash away. She's got to come back and take the kick.
Might have suited to hand that over.
She's going to kick it, and that one spins nicely off the boot. It clears Emily Bennett's head. Smith is at the back. In comes McClellan again. She's over the football. Smith needs to just pop this one out. She's got some support. Chloe Riley comes in to shut it down, though, for East Fremantle. Good kick. Sprillian's free ahead of the football. Some space to operate. Probably could have carried it even further, but decided to kick in the Versace direction. Through comes Dyke. Just holds play up well, paddles for the line, and that's good defensive work from Matilda Dyke. She forces a stoppage, and the support should come back to help out in defence for the Tigers.
Gabby Drogovic back at the Sharks after one season away. was appealing to the boundary umpire for deliberate. That's not how it works, Gabs. Bit of a play by Dyke. Liked her decision making. She's in the ruck now. Neither ruck can influence this contest. Dyke shovels this ball out and a good tackle from Wong. Good to go on with 2 from Dyke and Wong behind the play. It's just chopped off the ground, trying to benefit Garston. In the end, doesn't. Extracting the ball's McMahon. She's wrapped up in a strong tackle straight away, and the umpire will do well to give us an instant restart. Game much the same, JB. We're going to bounce around from halfback to halfback.
What's that, sorry?
The game again, it's started the same way or continuing the same way it started.
Yeah, it keeps happening, doesn't it? Sort of just need to see them to dominate in one direction and get it into the forward line.
What would you do out there today, Jess?
As a player or a coach?
As a player.
I'm a bit of an outside player, so I'd be running past for the hands, trying to carry it up the wing a little bit. I'm not so much of an in and under player, so yeah, trying to get it on the run past and kick it long down towards the forwards.
We're talking, let's have our third ball up in centre ground. It's with Goran over again, is wrapped up by McMahon. It's been her want to do today. She's basically worn a human as a backpack for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, she's a turtle. She's just had something on her back throughout, but it did pay dividends in the end when she managed to kick the goal that's put Claremont into the lead. 8 points. Her kick this time has gone towards the boundary, and it will go out of play without anyone touching it. So the resultant free kick will go in the way of Riley. And a very good first half. A little bit quieter in the third quarter. Stabs this one in towards Gomes. It clears her head. Straight off the bench was Payne, who collects the footy. Just overcooks the hand pass, searching for Jess Lowe. It hasn't quite been Jess's day. Ross at the back. Gives it off and gets it back. Now Long. Good kick over the top. Is there an opportunity here for East Fremantle deep forward? Radokovic close to the boundary. Dyke watching her closely. Gives her a shove and then a clever soccer kick. Clears the congestion. Ort looks good down low. Hand pass inside to Bennett, who fumbles and then soccers out of mid-air. They need a touch on this before the boundary. They'll do better than that. Husband collects and turns and then kicks long. Just too big though for Garstone. And O'Donnell, who has done a good job in defence today, mopping up again, marking on her chest.
Heaving a big sort of disappointed sigh behind the ball there was Brooke White, because anything over the top was all hers. Meanwhile, Garstone fighting with O'Donnell. Elkington, quick kick, should go to Noakes. Noakes plays on straight away. Obviously, and she's actually picked off the ball on the other side by Valentini. She's knocked over at the feet of the Talls centre half forward. Battling at ground level is Alex Williams. That was Lendrum. Ball to Riley. Kicks towards Wong. She's fronted by Lowe. It just gets her a little touch on the shoulder and Wong will take the free kick. And they both knew that. It happened straight away. Both players setting up. So for McDonald, Scott Versace. McDonald taps it away from Hamilton Smith, and the bias is Maddie Ross, who puts the ball into the path of Miley Leach. Doing some good work there was Fortescue, just to stop that little idea. Ross again going in. She gets one high too from Fortescue. She play on. Versace in the arms of McDonald. And another ball up.
Ross had liked that one back. She's got the high tackle and then I think wanted to take advantage, but there wasn't much on.
It looks to, I don't know, Jess, it looks to be this round trying to play on now.
Yeah, I think they're going for that fast play, aren't they? Really trying to move the ball down there and score as soon as possible by the looks of it.
Tigers by 8 points. Gone nearly 5 minutes in this last quarter, straight 18-minute quarters. Fremantle have rolled the dice a little bit on occasions as well, throwing a player forward, just spitting out of the pack, hoping that they can win the football in these sort of situations, but another ball up coming here. Amy Franklin sitting free forward at the moment, but Claremont unable to get the ball to her quickly enough. I think with Bolton coming on from the bench will now match up on her. Here go the Sharks. McClellan, a little fumble, almost threw that one towards a teammate. Hamilton Smith did well under pressure, pokes the kick forward, and Franklin again first to react. Takes the mark. Bolton might have just about taken a couple of steps over the mark there. The umpire didn't see it that way. Kick towards half forward. Kat Bennett just leaves it behind. In comes Williams. Long on her back, gets a kick away. Hamilton Smith, she was almost away with the races there, but dropped the footy. Sockered forward by Kat Bennett. Upended by McMahon. They get it inside 50. Boundary throwing to work nicely here for Garstone. She's got about 4 to beat. East Fremantle want to keep it in. Williams is caught though. Claremont support arrived. That's a good tackle and a good result for the Tigers in the right forward pocket. And Jess, they've managed to shift it forward, and this is where we've seen Claremont do their best work today, locking it inside 50.
Yeah, that's right. They're really able to put some pressure on them now once they've got it inside the 50 and force it forward for a goal. Are we hoping for?
The players starting to tie now. Increasing kicks off the ground. Ella Smith and Inglis Hodge clash heads. Back here with Ortlep in the centre of the ground to Bennett. This is who I'd want kicking in for my team. She pulls this one a little short. It's going to bias McLennan, who's done the job pretty well marking. She drops this one off hands Goranova. Noakes approaches, flying through Garstone. O'Donnell calming a crisis to Williams, who finds Kakamo at half back. Wonderful little build. Looking for the corridor now. She's overcooked that kick. It's gone over Maddie Ross's head, and Ortlep, while cramping, takes the mark and then offloads to her skipper, who connects with Bennett. Bennett plays on straight away, opening up the goal face. Over the back is White. She's good in this situation. Bolton, centre half back this year, does the job down to O'Donnell, and she's able to just relieve temporarily because Elkington's screaming in on this one. Pressure from Leach and then from Noakes. 3 of 16 and 17-year-old players in that little passage of play. The ball squirted towards the top of 50 again, in a more central position than Claremont's tried today. And we'll have another ball up.
The ball's spread across, hasn't it, from this pocket closest to us. There's a bit of space on both sides here for Claremont if they can get it on the move. Through comes Goranova again. Ross watching her closely. The umpire thought about it for a moment, and I reckon he looked at Goranova's number and thought, no, you've been penalised enough. Goranova will swoop through again. Kick to the top of the goal square. White forced to make the spoil there on Bolton, who then soccers towards the line. Demanis close to that line, keeps it in. There's two Tigers inside. One of those is Garstone. And she kicked like a defender on that occasion, Jess. We're hoping that as a forward she might be able to find the opening, but not on this occasion, out on the full.
That's right. Unfortunately, maybe she should have gone to the top of the square there, but she's had a shot and it's not gone too well for her.
Well, changing gears in a race car. I think she changed her mind about 7 times about which kick to use. Meanwhile, new nickname for Sasha Goranova will be Dora, the Explorer, because one of her favourite friends today is Backpack. She has been running around with a human clamp, like she's in a koala bear nursery. She's attracted fierce physical pressure from East Fremantle today. Tackle's been strong and fair, must be said. Good technique from the Sharks. Front position Bennett, over the back Bolton, loves to ruck. It's been East Fremantle's ruck for a number of years. Centre half back is a terrific position for her. She's such an aggressive player, and guess who's wearing a backpack? It's Sasha Goranova.
Well, Amy Franklin's throwing the ball on the ground as well.
And that's 50, so Wong, very dangerous player. Doing some tackling today, Wong. She'll receive 50, which will help her kick, which is often a little shorter than she intends. She's checking that is the mark, and just sells the dummy as easy to Jess Lowe. And her short kick should find Ross. Coming from very well deep was Bennett, and she was able to force the spoil. Ross works her off the football. Hamilton Smith forced to come in now and help out. And Ross is going to do really well here to stop this ball. There's 2 more dynamic players. Yep, I reckon it was. There's some signals in the box that might have been holding the ball. But good forward defensive work, and that was a 1%er in the book for her.
Yeah, good movement there from the Sharks. Took advantage of the 50. And now they've got field position. McClellan has no one against her. It was remarkable. That was like a training drill where you were told not to contest against the ruck. Hongel's caught, could have been penalised. Goranova shrugs that tackle and then heard the whistle for a high one. And she goes back and takes the kick. Now wants to move it on quickly. Kicks towards the wing. Kat Bennett stretching, can't quite finish it off. Riley did enough. Now good work from Bennett again. Off to Hamilton Smith, who's kicked down the line, just eludes Garstone, and we'll see a free kick midway through this last quarter. East Fremantle need 2 goals to win it from here. Can you see them doing it, Jess? What do they need to do? Looks as though they're definitely going a lot quicker now in this last quarter.
Yeah, I think the fast play is the way they've got to go. Looks like they are by playing on over and over. Intercept marks like that won't help them though, unfortunately.
Lendrum. Rucks have been good doing that today, both teams. She goes long and high. She's looking for a screamer. Sarah Garstone can't quite get off the ground, and mopping up behind the ball is Bolton. Emily Bennett again, really strong contact from behind, but Wong, as she's done today, just cruising around, just collecting possessions. Doesn't quite connect with Gomes. Gomes has got a little cork in the thigh, I reckon. She's a bit uncomfortable. She bails out of that contest. McMahon wraps low up 2 strong players. And the umpire will reset. I think Gomes, just skipper from the Sharks, just got a little knee into the quad during that play. And that's going to leave a mark. And Smith in the ruck against McLennan. She wins the tap and the ball off the ground to Hamilton Smith. Doing a lot of work ahead of the ball was Lendrum. She really earned that kick because she had to get rid of Ailey O'Donnell before she was able to approach. Little kick towards the boundary line is good to Germanis. Love to see her play on from here. She drops it in turn to Franklin. Diving attempt not taken. Versace's able to clean up and pull it around the corner. And taking the relieving mark should have been McMahon, but McLennan called her out. This lets Claremont back into the game again. Ella Smith It's turned over to McMahon. Riley clears long. Ortlep in the box seat. Needs to collect this because Matt Ross is very fast. Terrific handball releases Bennett. Getting the ball in the hands of the kickers at the moment, the Tigers. This is to Bennett, her sister Kath. Across from West Perth this year. Both West Perth homegrown products being on loan. Ball's a good ball. Brooke White takes one across the ears from Alex Williams. It's deemed as approach for the footy, and a throw's being called. It was off the prior play, was it? Was it Williams throwing it under Brooke's tackle, Brooke White's tackle? Anyway, still open 50 here. The Sharks haven't got back. White can strike the ball to the top of the square if she likes. Bolton's hovering. She connects shorter instead to Franklin, and Franklin is a good kick of the football, and this kick is not beyond her. The distance at least is not beyond her. So I've tried to give her a plug here, JB, which means she's going to kick this into the construction site on the close right-hand side, but...
Maybe you're the lucky charm now, eh? I'll back her in as well.
Never been called that in my life. Amy Franklin on approach. This will end the Sharks' hopes. If she can get this home, it's a nice strike long kick. It's going to drop short. Bolton does what she's been doing so well so far this season in the back roll. She gets a finger on it.
So it's last chance now for East Fremantle. They've got to score twice. They've got 6 minutes to do so. Chloe Riley has a bounce while in the goal square, which is interesting. Takes on Weston, does well. Hand pass away and she'll get it back again. Bold football from Riley, and then it's charged down by Smith. Support comes from O'Donnell, so East Fremantle can reset. Noakes uses it neatly towards Kakamo. Lowe does enough with the spoil. No, interfered, chopping the arms. It's been one of those days for Jess Lowe. The ball just hasn't quite sat for her. A couple of uncustomary fumbles.
Pretty sure she had her hands on that ball.
Yeah, I thought it might have been 50-50. The umpire decided it was free kick. Versace can't drag that one back in. Opens the door here for Claremont. Goranova has got some space for a rare occasion this time. Good long kick, but no one home. And Williams getting back to mark for East Fremantle. They've got to go quick. They've got 5 minutes to win this one. They need to find 2 goals. They've only kicked 1 for the game. They might turn this one over as well. Hamilton Smith to set it up for Claremont at half forward.
Smith plays on the spot. Couple of little dance steps. The Lendron looks like she's coming from behind. Riley's got the sit and the drop. Well done. Drives this ball down towards Green. Green, good mark, good contest. Great contest, Smith and Green. McMahon's been clever and she's able to work in and intercept this ball intended for Kat Bennett. Liked her game. She's continued to build today. Chloe Riley 2 off the chain. I actually like the way the Sharks are playing too, as McMahon has a bounce. Suggests there's a bounce criteria being given to them by their coaching staff. This ball is supposed to favour Kakamo. It's got a bit too much on it, and guess who? Just a little shin off the ground to advantage herself in this occasion. She knew Valentini was there, but Ross charges that handball down. She read it like an open book. Ross trying to drive her legs now. This is Maddie Ross handballing into the path of Green. She's got company in Payne, wrapped up by Bennett. Free ball to Payne, coming off the lines now. The Sharks coming through traffic's Fortescue. Sharks fierce at half forward now. Little flip out's good. This is going to go to Sprillion. A long time ago was a dynamic forward pocket this year, or as in last, more of a midfielder as Rosie Walsh's kick just surrenders a little bit of the good work that's been done. Although Sprillion's worked to keep this alive. She's tackled to ground, lost it in the tackle. Stepping inside was clever, looks to be Fortescue. And she'll kick she'll kick the Claremont team out of pressure, which she has, but it's going to come back because, of course, that wasn't touched, and it will be brought back in by the Sharks.
Looks like a good recruit, Fortescue, Jess.
Yeah, I think so. She's very strong in the legs and hard to beat. I've sort of had a one-on-one with her and came off second best. So, yeah, she's very good. She knows what she's doing and has played a bit of footy over in Queensland.
She looks battle-hardened, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Still a chance here for East Fremantle. They've got it in a very dangerous position. Need to be clean. Versace slaps it forward. Trying to engineer something here. Canane kicks towards the pocket. Rosie Walsh wants to keep it in. Not a lot of support for Rosie over there, although that soccer kick from Bennett will give Green a chance. Bennett follows up with a good tackle, throws it at ground. Umpire says it was dangerous. So Brianna Green will get the free kick. We're inside the last 3 minutes of the game. It's going to be right on her distance, but I reckon, Jess, she probably needs to kick this if East Fremantle to be any chance.
I think they do need it, yeah. There's still a few goals down, so maybe they'll have some luck here.
So Brianna Green, we mentioned before, good to see her back out here playing some football. This would really spark East Fremantle at this moment. They trail by 9 to get them within a straight kick. She doesn't have the distance and it's faded away. Fortescue drops the mark, rushes her behind accidentally, but that will do Claremont nicely. And they should, Deeks, just take as much time as possible to bring this ball back in because there's only 2 minutes left.
Okay, both teams seem to be in a hurry this quarter, so it'll be interesting to see. They've given it to Orlip, so she'll calm things off. Experienced footballer. Saw your notepad there before. A bit of research. 9th season.
Yeah, something that's what she told me at least. Yeah, she fancies herself as a better footballer than her sister, I believe.
She gave you the research before you came up here.
Yeah, she did. She gave me the notes.
And she said, I'm a better footballer than sister Claire.
That's exactly right.
Claire will be watching too.
No doubt Claire's here. She's at the Eagles, of course. Intercept mark from the attempt to clear the defensive half from Claremont's taken by Versace. Versace trying to get in. Flying is Green. That's a mark. No play on. Or is that Ross? I can't quite see from here. It is Ross. And I reckon she had every right to claim that catch.
That was Fortescue who absolutely buried her as well.
Interestingly, she's actually got a free kick, which is good. So interestingly, that is a mark. And Fortescue just picks her up and drives her in turf. And you won't mind. She's slight of build, but she loves the contest. She loves her footy. She loves getting out there and wrestling and throwing herself around. The entry to the forward 50 was very, very, very shallow. Because of that, they trickled over the line. So East Fremantle not giving themselves a chance to score by staying as flat as they are to the boundary in that one.
So we're inside the last minute. Tigers by 8 points. Throwing in, swooping through Green. She's tackled and might have just accidentally poked her opponent Payne in the eye there. Taken away though by the Tigers. The long clearing kick by Ella Smith, intercepted by Bolton. And she marks it centre half forward. Almost every player of the ground in front of her. So Claremont more than happy to send the numbers back, and the captain takes the relieving mark. So this time last week the Tigers went down to Swans 2-1. And it appears that they're going to claim their first victory of the season with a very similar margin. As this kick goes to Fortescue, we've wrapped her up with her game today. It's been a very handy inclusion for Claremont. Playing her second game, she's thinking about kicking across the face of goal, decides not to do that. Kicks down the line, and Payne, who did start this game very well, she finishes with the ball in hand. She'll celebrate with her captain Ella Smith. And the Tigers are pretty pleased with that one. They've handed East Fremantle a zip and 2 start to the season, and Claremont get their first win of the year. They've rebounded from a disappointing loss against Swans last week to record a win here today by 8 points, 2-5-17 to 1-3-9. Valentini and Goranova kicked the goals for Claremont. Sarah Lewis kicked the first goal of the game for East Fremantle and finished the game on the bench. But Jess Barker, it wasn't pretty, but I think Claremont will be more than happy with that just to get a win on the board in the first couple of rounds.
Certainly hard fought, wasn't it, with that low score? They don't get much of a break, and it's a pretty warm one out there. So good to see the girls continue to fight the whole way through to the end. But the Tigers came out with the win, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be all back next week, the Sharks, with a win to get on the board.
Love the way the Sharks attempted to play that last quarter. I wonder how different the game might have been had they done that at the start. Attacked the corridor, ran the V, drove the 45s, had a bounce. It seemed to be a directive from the coach's box perhaps to have some running bounces. But you think that a good mix of the defensive pressure which they put on, which is really good, their one-on-one ball winning ability in the middle, and then coupled with that run that famous Sharks run from half back, things might be okay for Sharkies as they learn to play in those 3 different sort of, I guess, facets of the game, according to the what am I trying to say? According to what the game's demanding of you. Go slow, go fast, one-on-one, and then be beautiful on the outside, depending on the situation.
Coming in for the joint huddle between the two teams with our camera right down there on the side of the huddle. Claremont next week get a look at South Fremantle, who were very competitive in their first game against Subiaco, not quite as tight in their contest today against Swans when they went down by 53 points. Peel play Swans next week, which will be an interesting battle, the 2 unbeaten teams. But the other one, Jess, is East Fremantle and Subiaco. So Subi struggled to get over the top of South, and then were handed a bit of a thumping from Peel last night. And East Fremantle have lost to Peel and Claremont the first 2 rounds. So unusual to see Subiaco and East Fremantle filling spots in the bottom half of the competition.
Yeah, that's certainly new to the competition, but it'll be good to see how they go in that, how they take each other on and what they bring to their games that they haven't been able to do in the last couple of weeks.
We'll pick up the Claremont song shortly, Degs. Who were you impressed by with the Tigers today?
Oh, look, I don't know whether there's a 4-quarter balance, but I think Payne's very important. I think she provides something that maybe some other clubs don't have. I think she hits the contest really hard. She's got a thirst for contested footy, but she likes to burst through at the back. I think that can change games, and I don't think I could go past Ortlip today in terms of holding things together for Claremont and playing in that sort of anchor role. Although, having said that, she sometimes started high and worked back to be the anchor, and she was also the distributor. So she dictated, much like Chippy Dowson did a few weeks ago. If Claremont attacked left, it's because that's what she wanted. If they attacked right, that's what she did too. She also won, as you said, a couple of times during the call. She won 3-on-1s.
Against, wasn't it? And outnumbered badly in defence on a couple of occasions and saved the day for her side. There's Fremantle trudging off the ground at the moment.
Don't think you can fault either team's effort.
Yep. Absolutely.
Certainly a bit more structure, a bit more shape to what Claremont were trying to do at different times.
There'll be a fair bit of excitement in the middle of this huddle. A few new players to sing the song for the first time. We'll head down to our cameraman in just a moment. They're setting up. Here go the Tigers now. Nice balance in that circle, Jess. There was probably a third of the team in the circle, 2/3 around the outside. It just looked good and sounded good.
They managed to space it out well, didn't they? Yeah, in tune and everything. I think they've done a great job of it.
Bit of practice too. The even distribution of water from those bottles throughout the whole song. Fantastic shots to be, fantastic ability to be inside that huddle through front row screens there. The cameraman getting right up close to that action, so that we can share the song with the Tigers.
Disappear into the rooms. They're just hovering underneath that marquee that you could see, and there's our great camera shot from down on the ground as well as they find a bit of shade. It's one of the challenges that the teams, Jess, will get over these first probably 4 or 5 rounds while the temperatures remain pretty warm. There's some red faces down there. It's a bit of a battle, and it's something that the girls are going to have to get used to.
Yeah, that's it. Certainly the heat's going to play a big factor, isn't it? But looks like they've all come out after a hard-fought game and managed to still be standing. So we'll see how they go over the next couple of months, and with that heat. And
a really well-balanced team, the Tigers, isn't it? Some really good players. Like Jemana offers something that other players don't. Obviously, we talked about Payne Hodgell through the midfield and as a defender. They're really well-balanced. You're seeing some highlights of the game here. Inglis Hodge did very well in the first half, and I think she got a bit more close checking in the second. Did create some forward thrusts for the Sharks, and Lewis, of course, here kicking her goal. She took no further part in the game after half-time and has failed to complete round 1 and round 2 games so far. So tough call on the coaches. It might be for them just to give her a little rest and recover a week or two so that she can go back fit and firing, because such an important player for the Sharks.
It's a bit of a worry for Fremantle. They've only kicked 4 goals in the first 2 games. Rach Ashley kicked 2 of those and got injured last week. Sarah Lewis kicked a goal today and injured as well. So what options they do have up forward, they've managed to lose already early in the season. So it's going to be a very different looking East Fremantle side to what we've been used to over the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Claremont, a young and developing team, but also probably with their biggest problem at the moment is finding an avenue to goal as well. They kicked 1 goal last week and they kicked 2 this week, and 2 was enough to win, but it won't win you too many games of WAFLW. So I wonder how, Jess, they might be able to make use of Brooke White, Amy Franklin. There's some talent up there. Be interesting to see what the coaches can do. Sarah Garstone playing forward as well. It'd be interesting to see what the coaches can do to generate more shots on goal.
Yeah, there's definitely some talent up there in the forward line, and the back line dominates big time. So they've just got to be able to, get it up high and over into the deep 50 to get it to those girls who can kick goals.
That's a forward 50 entries today, wasn't it, Jess? But AFLW clubs talk about forward 30 entries, and I think that's where Claremont sort of didn't get as many forward 30 entries as they probably like today.
It would be worth, with WAFLW, wiping the 50-metre line out, wouldn't it? Because that tells the girls we've got to get it in there, but you don't need it in there, you need it a bit further.
No comparison to junior football, but it happens in junior football too.
Yeah.
50 is a landmark on the ground in AFL, and when you're a 14-year-old boy, you cannot kick the ball to goal from 50. You're still a pass and a half. Great news today is Brianna Green got through a game of football from start to finish. A little scare once or twice in terms of being put on the turf. But that's great for her, it's great for the Eagles, it's great for East Fremantle football, East Fremantle Footy Club, but it's also great for the footy club itself.
Goal there from Valentini just before half-time.
Little chair dance.
Yeah, a few dances from the Tigers. Is that something that's part of the club, Jess? We saw
Weston
just at 3/4 time. They're having a dance. She was 50 metres away from a captain, but they were definitely dancing together.
Yeah, there's definitely a few characters in there who love a good dance. Bit of a cultural thing, I think, sort of get around the club and girls love to have a bit of a boogie, so no, it's good.
We got to see Ella Smith over 3 years, 3 years of her in the 18s program, dancing before every game to "This Girl Is on Fire."
She would have been singing it as well, I'm sure. But very good day in the end for Claremont as we start to wrap things up here at Revo Fitness Stadium. The Tigers 1-1 from their first 2 games. East Fremantle 0-2, which will be the first time in a long time East Fremantle have started with 2 losses to their new season. And as we mentioned, a massive clash for them against Subiaco next week. You wouldn't believe that East Fremantle could be 0-3 after 3 games, but then again, if Subiaco drop a game next week, they're 1-2. So early stages sort of suggest we might have a different looking grand final with Peel and Swans setting the pace early. But Jess, it's been fantastic to have you with us. You've enjoyed your first foray into commentary.
I have, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Definitely get her back again, I reckon, Dex. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Throw her into the squad.
Onto the panel.
Onto the panel, yeah. The rotation system. We'll definitely have her back again. And Dex, great to have you with us again on a Sunday afternoon.
Good fun. Wouldn't be anywhere else.
Thanks to Matt and the boys in the caravan. Truck.
I think it's the trailer today.
They've got it all out there. No, great work from them to get us on air with the stream again, and well done to the Tigers. 8-point winners today against East Fremantle. A win for Claremont to square up with their loss last week. The Sharks 0-2 from 2 games. We'll be back with another live stream game next week, so we look forward to your company then.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the WAFL and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.